Yeah. Might be my arrogance, but ain't nobody stopping me. That's how I go when you pay for them shows.
All right. What a way to end 2018, right? That's right. It is time for the biggest interview I've ever done, or as I like to call it, God's way of trying to convince you that he's real, because we have two special guests, man. It would be one thing to get 1 million sub guy. That's pedestrian shit. How about two? We got Leon Lush and ImAllexx on the line, ready to go. What's going on, guys?
Hello, Dave.
Worst.
You good, Dave? What's going on? How's the stream going?
Worst intro ever. Worst intro ever.
No,
My
it's
God.
fine. I haven't done one of these in so long.
It's been crazy. So, for those who don't know, you both have been on this channel before, back when you were just, the mere 250,000 YouTube guys that you were then. And now you're back after all this time. It's freaking crazy. You saying the audio's cutting out a little bit. Just give it a second. It'll be totally okay. It should be fine.
Oh, yeah. It's fine now.
Yeah, it should be. Sometimes the German internet doesn't always work with me. But
doesn't always hold up.
No. This German internet sucks shit. My God. One thing I don't love about being back in Germany.
At least the drinking age is 16. That's good.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Something we were talking about beforehand, about how everyone was just excited that it was 16 here. Yeah.
That would have been good for me about 16 years ago. But
yeah, I wonder what my life choices would be like if I was in a country where the drinking age was 16.
Probably would not be here right now.
Yeah, maybe. You're not wrong.
Leon, more than you, if I had to guess. You had to be hell on wheels back then. My God.
Yeah. I had a bit of a mean streak in me, a little party streak.
I bet. Thank you, Dog Savage, for the super chat donation. Appreciate that.
Oh, I haven't had that in ages.
No. Yes. And now I probably should have turned off the subscription notification. We're going to get hammered with that today. The zombie is alive and well. My God. All right.
Well,
so
I see people doing that.
Yeah,
you to 1 million next, Dave.
You're right. Shit. I'm going the opposite way, boys.
We're going to have 3 people on 1 million. That's the aim.
The amazing thing is you guys have both went up. I basically stayed at I think I'm actually less than I was when you guys were both here last year. My God.
Yeah, well, dude, just start making videos titled "We Need to Stop" and then talk about big.
Yeah, that's exactly what you need to do. Thank you.
I'm going to rip you off completely. Yeah.
Go stand up for a few hours and talk about how hard it was. And you do that as well if you want.
That's it. We all have to make a living somehow, right? Mine just happens to be inside of a circle.
Yeah, you were well on your way before that, but there's no question the Mr. Beast thing definitely helped out.
Oh, he pushed me. Yeah, he definitely pushed me over the 1 million mark. I was getting close to 900, and then I probably got about 100 a couple days after that video, which was not.
Yeah, and you had the dying people video this year as well, which did absolute numbers.
Those were kind of like my thing. That's one thing I realized when I went to LA. I was like meeting some people for the first time that I didn't know, and I didn't really know if they knew who I was, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're the dude that made the video about those dying YouTubers." I was like, "Yeah, I guess that's my fucking thing now, isn't it?"
Yeah, that's always weird when you go somewhere and you find out what people know you for.
Yeah, well, a lot of people. That's if my channel quadrupled in size in 3 months, so obviously there's going to be a massive amount of people that know you just for that one thing.
Right.
As opposed to, the years of videos you did beforehand.
I think that's a good way to start, too, is do you find yourselves getting, agitated at that this is kind of pigeonhole you a little bit? Do you think that it was the video that got you?
No.
Does that bother you? Do you wish you were known for something else other than the things that have kind of popped you at this moment?
No, it doesn't bother me at all.
Fame is fame. It's like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah.
What got me to 100K was at the time I really enjoyed doing that, and then I stopped, and then what got me to 500,000 was completely different again. I always feel like if I wanted to change the way I did something, if I wasn't having fun with it, that I could in a way that people would still want to still watch it, I'd hope.
Right.
Yeah, and it's it would be one thing if I blew up on the internet because I fucked a McChicken or something, but so I was just doing
which you have done.
Yeah, which I've done. I just didn't record it. That might
no one knows about
that guy. But I was just making videos, about YouTubers like I always do, and one of them just happened to pop off. So that's, just doing what I do. So that's fine. I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's weird because I have a story actually from VidCon, and I think you were on 30,000 from what I remember, probably just over.
God.
This would have been VidCon when me and you met.
Oh yeah.
I remember we were by the pool,
Yes.
and you were screwing your Gorilla Pod into your camera. And I remember being like, if we just keep on doing what we're doing now, one day we'll end up on 1 million. I remember saying that. And it happened, but I thought I meant like 2020, 2021. Not, give it a year.
So you knew you were hitting the million. You just weren't expecting to hit it this quickly.
I always knew since the beginning days of commentary that I remember when I stumbled across the genre, I remember being like, it was like this weird kind of like fucking bingo moment where I was like, these guys are fucking hilarious. And the quality was up there, if not better, than anybody who I was already watching who was either doing similar stuff, I suppose.
Right.
And that was whenever I think the most subscribed person then in our sphere. I'm not talking about like Leafy was like picking up traction, but I think he was still only like 500,000 at the time. But I mean, like I think I was probably watching Colossal and Elvis at the time. And I remember, like, I hadn't been making videos for like a year, and I really wanted to get back into it. And I saw those videos, and I went, I want to do this. This seems like fun, and it seems like people really enjoy it.
I think I didn't. It was probably October 2016. I think is when I started making videos heavy again. I got re-involved in the community through Twitter and stuff like early in 2016, where I kind of found the whole commentary community with, Elvis, Colossal, and Leafy, Grade, all those people, probably in like the beginning of 2016. And then when I really started to take interest was when I think Leafy was at like his peak. And I was just like, yo, this kid is making what I could consider pretty subpar videos, like in a basement, not even showing his face. And he's making like hundreds of $1,000s a month. I'm like, there's something to this, you know what I mean? So
yeah, I
kind of went from there.
It was one of those things where I remember saying to Leon, actually, I was like, you'll hit the 1 million. But I think I was on 100K at the time, but I never saw it as, I always thought at a certain point I'd probably end up like dipping out to uni or something, especially when the ad crisis happened.
Right.
Yeah.
But I was always convinced that all my friends would do it as long as they kept on doing it. And I don't think there's anybody who hasn't stayed on the horse who isn't doing everything that I thought they would do. And I think it shows that, we had a really good group of people.
Well, that, and it just shows you that consistency over time is the ultimate formula. I mean, like, I never really try to set expectations for myself. I mean, it seemed like the longest time, like when I first started, like making videos once or twice a week, where just nothing, just getting into the YouTube recommended or whatever, I just couldn't get anything to pop. Like I'd gain a couple subs here and there from like something on Twitter I did that would get big or something, but just YouTube was showing me no love. But you just gotta keep going, and eventually, maybe you make a video about Lele Ponds that gets 1 million views.
Do you think you both benefited? I mean, like, I think a lot of people benefited when Leafy left, the Leafy vacuum. I think it's come to be known at this point. Do you think people like you and Kavos really kind of filled that void? I mean, obviously, when Leafy was at his prime, he was growing at a rate like ridiculous, and we really haven't seen a lot of people do that since then, since his fall. Do you guys feel that you have benefited from that?
The people who do grow at that rate are always the non-face cam people. But I don't want to make that, because his videos back in the day were easy to consume. There's one of the things I always say to people who do face cam stuff when they compare to people like Leafy and stuff. And I always sit there and go, well, the one thing that lets us down is that the first thing people will do when they click on your video is they will judge the way you look. And that's genuinely a huge reason, because I have friends who don't do the face cam stuff and their numbers are just ridiculous. Because there's less to pick at.
Right.
Even people will stop watching somebody just because they think they're ugly more than they're actually not entertaining.
I risk that every time I go live. I know. My God.
It's a fickle game. That's why that's why me and Leon have turned the webcams off today.
Yeah, seriously.
I found some suitable
just need
pictures of both of you. I
subscribers.
think it works out quite well.
I like that one. I like that one. Was that my thumbnail from the "I'm gonna be a dad" video? I think it is.
I think it
I
is.
think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I got to give a
that's-
big shout out to Vega for this frame that he did in about 3 fucking hours. By the way, incredible work.
Yeah, he's a legend.
He
He
really
is a hero, that man. Yeah, I mean, I'd say on the Leafy thing, I'd say for about a year, it was fucking terrible because we were directly associated with him. What actually, I would say, saved us, ironically, was the Viner invasion.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, just for content alone, my God, Leon,
if
I'd
it
say
wasn't
more than
people-
you.
Yeah, but yeah, because Leon was with the insufferable Instagram videos, but not
You were
even just that,
savage to them, Leon. Holy shit.
Yeah, you went in.
It's all in good fun, you know.
But I would say the people like Cody Cohen, Danny Gonzalez, and Drew, they really brought new life to the face cam commentary aspect that really helped everybody.
Yeah.
I think those guys did a lot for us.
I would say. I mean, just from
It is
just bringing people in, new eyeballs. I mean, you can same thing with the Pauls. You know, anywhere they go, we hate them. They're reprehensible. Blah 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 blah. But eyeballs follow, and they're not always going to stay with them. They are going to residually go to other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, the internet, you know, how tension waxes and wanes from one thing to the other, and some people, I mean, it's a whole just years of peaks and valleys, and it's like just a constant, I don't want to say struggle, but just, you know, you're working to try and chase the peaks, and
Right.
you're going to have the valleys too, but I don't know, like the thing I get caught up in is like I get caught up in the micro, like I look at, oh, you know, how's this doing this week? And you start panicking if you're having like a bad week or whatever. But if you look at the big picture, the 6-month picture, the 12-month picture, as long as you're trending in the right direction, I think you're doing the right thing. So
Yeah, it was so dumb when I hit the million. The day that I posted a video the next couple of days, I was like, oh, it fucking flopped. And I was like, why?
I'm done. Yeah,
It's over. It's fucking done now.
I fucked it. I don't know about you, Leon. I originally was going to do a million special, but I'm glad I binned that off and put it forward. Because I was originally scared shitless to upload a video after a million.
Well, just to upload one that wasn't like on par with what you had been doing at the time.
Well, it wasn't even that. It was just I felt like I needed to do something special, you know?
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I felt the same way. I only got one comment. Someone was like, "Oh, where's the 1 million special?"
Where's the special?
I'm fucking probably an idiot, but I'm still doing one that involves like getting a fan made tattoo. I'm still working on.
You
Still
idiot.
working on that.
I don't think you should do it. I think it should just be a constant troll till you hit like 3 million, 4 million, 5 million. Just never do the million special. And then one day when you hit like 15 million, here's my million sub special.
I could do it that
Just
way.
fuck with people. It'd be fantastic.
I don't know. I want to do a million sub special before YouTube like deletes my channel and I can't do a special at all.
I don't think you're in
Yeah,
jeopardy
yeah.
of that. It's like, and that's.
I mean, I don't think so either. But you never know. Like they just could change the TOS tomorrow and then
Right.
delete it.
Yeah, well, I mean, tomorrow
They
they
do it
could
all
just
the time.
they did this weird thing that people panicked about because they separated like UK and US terms of service,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you know we've got this Article 13 thing here, and maybe you know some people celebrate because you will only be able to watch my videos if you're in the UK or not even at all. So it's all good. So there's always something going on with YouTube, but it's one of the things I don't know if it's stupid now, but
It's
I've
certainly
almost
more
learned to just
scary.
stop caring because I mean I went through the ad crisis, and honestly, if anything else takes me out at this point, I think one of the things I'm glad for the ad crisis for is it made me know that it can't get any worse than that. So
Well, maybe.
No, I don't-
I mean,
like to think
ask
it
Monkey.
can.
Ask Monkey
Yeah,
Jones. That's
that's-
not fucking true. It can
was gonna
always
say,
get
that's
worse.
Pretty optimistic of you.
I was living off crisps every day.
Oh yeah, thank God that happened. Thank God before I was back. I was still working full time.
Now you have caviar on your crisps.
I remember.
Yes, caviar crisps. That sounds like a terrible flavor.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, Leon. Go ahead. I apologize.
No. I don't know. I was just laughing and I farted and it smells kind of bad, so I was smarting in the face a little
Oh,
bit.
nice.
Right.
That's called
So,
karma.
but-
That's just you did it to yourself.
Yeah.
No one to blame. First question I want to ask you guys. from where you were when you came on here a year ago, which I was grateful for that. Now I'm even more fucking grateful because Jesus Christ, 2 million subs, it's ridiculous. What's changed? Anything changed for each of you individually? Are you getting recognized more? Is there anything that you're just noticing? Are you still having the same everyday stresses? You already kind of intimated towards that a little bit earlier, but elaborate on that a little bit more. Start with you, Leon. Do you feel anything has changed, or do you feel things are going to change going forward?
Yes and no. I mean, the process in my head doesn't really change. Like, you feel a little bit of pressure, kind of like, I feel like the farther along you go to kind of keep that going, right? You have more eyeballs on you and you want to continue to provide entertainment for people and you don't want to let people down. And there's a little part of that that can feel heavier as I think you get bigger. But at the end of the day, it's like, well, I haven't changed what I do. I think I'm in a pretty good rhythm, and I'm just going to continue to do that, while at the same time continuing to always try and find ways to give myself a little bit of an edge, without completely changing what I do, just trying new things here and there. But the big thing for me, I think I've noticed personally in my life is like, once I got close and hit 1 million and the whole Mr. Beast LA video happened, the whole YouTube aspect really became a much larger part in my real life. Like, people who I'd see at get-togethers and during the holidays just recently I went through, now people are interested, right, than what I do.
Yes.
Like, before,
now it's a job.
Now
it's a job.
Yeah, no one gave a shit. No one knew. But now they'll be like, "Oh wait, I heard you quit your job. Like, what the hell? You can make money on YouTube?" And it's like, yeah, nobody fucking gets it.
Yeah.
So it's certainly
funny.
Yeah, it's certainly become a lot more prevalent in my personal life, where before I was just kind of coasting as this dude who did YouTube on the side and no one really gave a shit. And now it's like I have to talk about it to everybody I see.
Now you're out of the closet. Now you can openly be a fucking YouTuber for the first time.
Yeah. And it's funny because I'm for people that I'm sure people talk to me and they're like, "Oh, I gotta go check this guy out," and then they click on a video and I'm sucking Nigel's dick or something, and they're like,
yeah.
I'm just like, hey,
what is this YouTube thing really about? Holy shit!
Wait, you make money
doing this?
dry humping a monkey doll on the internet? And I'm like, yeah.
Are you allowed to have kids?
Yeah. Hell yeah, dude.
Alex, what about you?
Yeah,
Have you noticed anything change? You're in a different region altogether. So, what's different for you?
Well, it's weird because, I went to events when I had about 4,000-5,000 subscribers in a completely different community. I was doing FIFA stuff back then. And I remember and I got recognized for the first time ever there.
Oh, really?
So, that it wasn't just one day I went out and loads of people recognized me, but it would have been at college, actually, I think. And this was only when I had about, I'd say, I did about 10K overnight, so I may have been on 15. And even then, when you're in I was doing a media course, and a lot of those guys watched the YouTubers who chat me out and stuff, because it was I done some content cop video at the time, and I was the talk of the of kind of the college for a few days,
Christmas,
and it kind of died down again. Yeah, and then I went to America for a year. I didn't get recognized at all there. We got recognized. We went to VidCon.
Well, yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah, it's because it's just a concentrated people of people.
Yeah, you'd hope so.
If you didn't, you really had to think about your life choices. Oh shit! If I didn't get recognized,
I can't believe I recognized at VidCon. Yeah. I got more people recognized me at VidCon than I thought, because at the time I only had 100K, and to meet about 10, 20 people over the time there at that point, being a UK YouTuber, was very weird. So that was cool. But I think the biggest change for me is definitely the way that my old friends of mine, most of them treat me the same. Yeah. There's quite a lot of people who treat you completely differently. And I don't have a problem with that, because I understand that it would probably be weird if one of my friends suddenly became a big footballer or something, or signed for a football team, because they'd be like, why has it happened? But I went to the pub on Christmas Day, and it was so weird because I've always known a lot of these people, even people who I'd see who were in the year above. This would have those people coming over to me, because for me, I'm just still that bloke.
Right.
nothing's changed for me.
Right.
I'm just doing what I've always been doing. But now, like, especially if I go to like Birmingham, I get recognised every single time I go out in Birmingham.
And you don't even have to wear the
time.
internet sensation shirt outside. You know,
I purposely don't. I used to wear it just because they're comfortable, but now I don't wear it sometimes because of the fact that if I'm with friends and stuff, like I think it makes other people awkward
because now it's kind of gimmicky. You've made it, so it's like, what are you doing?
The shirt is recognisable before I am. That's always been the case. Well, I remember even at VidCon when I needed 100k subscribers, people go, "Oh, so you're the guy who makes those shirts?" Nobody knew my videos.
Yeah, Tommy always likes to say he tells people he sells shirts for a living. That's what Tommy C does. He doesn't even say he's a YouTuber. So that's what it seems like. It's like everyone's merch sellers, or that's what they're doing.
Everything is clothing. Yeah.
I mean, you look at it.
Changing. I mean,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine. It's just everything is way more intense than it used to be, I suppose.
Right.
Like, especially, and it feels weird because I guess it would probably be the same for you, Leon. Like, me and you hit the million super quickly. After, like, I got channel traction, and then I was like, I'll finish the year with 750k. My goal at the end of this year was 500,000.
Jesus,
that's my goal.
I know that's what you were saying back when I had you on a year ago. You were hoping to be at like 300k. Yeah.
I was like, because at that time, like last time when I did the interview, my channel was fucking stone dead.
Yeah, it was at the time.
So it's weird to have had a revival, and then not just a revival, but whatever the fuck this has been, and then to get here. So I suppose the only thing that's really changed for me is the fact that I now understand that, like, I'd like to believe that I could do stuff to change it, because I made it my goal at the beginning of the year, because a lot of people, YouTube is one of those things that people think is very fickle and there's not much you could do, but
right.
I like to believe that if you generally do put the hours in and you work hard and you try and improve on your game, that you can change it all around. That's the main thing that's changed for me, just the way I view the website.
No, I agree 100%. I think there's like an element, like there has to be some sort of product or talent that you have, something that you have to offer that. Exactly. Something. And some people obviously are more talented than others in different arenas, but YouTube is a place where otherwise ordinary people can succeed and have very, lucrative careers as online personalities. You've seen it with 1 million people. A lot of the YouTubers, I think, that are successful are these like introverted people that maybe don't even excel that well in public settings or in real life, and they find communities online, and it's really interesting. I mean, that's kind of what drew me to it. I think that's what draws so many people to it, is the relatability and just seeing these people succeed and do well, and in a capacity that is really not different than maybe that person watching has themselves. And I don't know, for me, like you had mentioned, like with people treat you differently, and I'm like, I think there's like a negative connotation that comes along with that often, but I don't think it's really that bad of a thing. Sometimes for me in my life, it's just like people hear about what I do now and they know I do it. I've been doing it full time, and I think it's just intriguing to them maybe. So they're just more interested, I think, because
I never have anybody who's mean. It's always it's so nice about it, which is nice. I suppose it's because of the fact that it's easier, I think, for me as well, because most of the people who would be my age would be watching YouTubers like us.
Yeah.
So, but most people don't even seem to care too much about the commentary videos. It's like the really weird fringe videos, like the James Charles videos, are the ones that people always bring up to me. And people like that, people don't. No one seems to be. Nobody from my real life seems to care. I mean, I was speaking to one of my friends the other day. They were just like, they were watching one of my videos the other day, and they turned it off halfway through because they just didn't know what was going on.
That's most of the people in my real life too. Like most of my friends in real life aren't really involved in the YouTube community, and I tell them when people ask me what I do and like what I make videos about, I'm like, well, it's most of the stuff I talk about is geared around the online community, the YouTube community. So if you're not really part of that, you probably won't understand who I'm talking about. Like you'll still be able to take away some jokes and kind of get a laugh here and there, but you just won't have any clue really who I'm referring to, or
you're not going to be invested. Yeah.
Right.
I
Which is
think
fine,
that's been
but I
more of
tell
a
them,
thing too, right? Because the way YouTube has changed over the last year, it's more important than ever for people to gravitate towards the things that you guys are talking about. Because shit, it feels like nobody's growing anymore. And then, we have this little surge of you guys growing and some of the people you're connected with and all of that. But it's changed so much because it's not that beacon that you were talking about before. Like there was a time where everyone believed we can go to YouTube and maybe that lottery ticket will happen, will become something big. But it feels like this last year, YouTube's biggest story hasn't been people. It's been the broken fucking platform. And now nobody feels they can grow anymore. It's good to see that you guys are still able to do that in a time where it doesn't feel like you can. Do you feel that's the case, or is that dissuading to you, or how do you feel?
I don't know about you, Leon, but I feel like for me, because I get everybody come up to me and say that, but I just couldn't feel, even back when my channel was dead, I couldn't feel more different to that.
Really?
I feel like what I've seen this year is more people who deserve it hit milestones.
Right.
I when I saw the Danny Gonzalez, Drew Gooden, Cody Ko, Noah Miller, all those guys come on. Leon is come up. Bionic Pig's channel was doing well. James Marriott, Mimulus Will, Parasitical still going strong. So I look at it and I think all the people who I expected to still be here and thriving, who are putting the effort in, are doing are going to reach like unfounded territory. And I mean, next year I think it will be, if people think that this year was a surprise, I think next year you'll start seeing people doing 2-3 million in a year.
But that's the established people, though. That's the established people.
That's what I'm saying. The thing I think with you're referring to these people, you named a bunch of people, but these are all people that we've surrounded ourselves with, that we've been a community together. So it's like, I think for every one of me or for every one of you, there's 50,000 people that are trying to get their first 100 subscribers, right?
Yeah. Well, when I met James was on 2K.
It doesn't hurt running in the circle, though. It does.
James Marriott.
I think part of that is a testament. Part of that is a testament is how I think for me personally, if obviously it was part of growing as a YouTuber, you get a lot of people that are curious, ask you questions. They want to know, well, how can I grow? How can I do this? How can I follow in your footsteps? Or how did you find success? What did you do that worked? And I think it's like the most important thing is to be honest with yourself about what your strengths are and what you're good at, and make sure you're doubling down on that. And B is finding the right community to be a part of, because for me, at least at the end of the day, it's about YouTube. At least on my side of YouTube, our side of YouTube, I think it's about community and surrounding yourself with good people. And there's going to be a lot of gray area in that. Obviously, a lot of people have different opinions about, people, because when you bring in sub count and the fact that, views equals money and it's now people's livings, there's a lot of fucking shit that gets thrown around. But ultimately, I think you want to find good people to kind of shoot the shit with, and really, not only does it help you grow together, it also keeps you motivated to want to continue to do well. Because when I saw, for the longest time when I was looking around, it felt like I was seeing this person blow up and that person blow up and this person blow up and that person blow up. And I think a lot of people feel that way, and they're on their own grind, and they're like, man, is it going to happen to me? When's it going to happen to me? And for me, like, it was motivating. I think for some people that might be discouraging, but it's always motivating for me to see other people do well. Because I want to do well for myself, and
gives you hope.
It made me, it gives you hope. Made me keep on going.
Yeah, I know a lot of people get very upset when they see people blow up, and I always sit there. I remember there was somebody I got a DM because ironically it may have been Calvis's channel. When Calvis's channel blew up, everybody was always like, "Well, I bet you're really angry. But you're really upset."
I can just imagine. Were you kicking puppies, Allexx? Were you just pissed off at the world?
I was so angry. No, I remember I just said to people, I was like, why would I be upset? I was like, it just means that people really want to watch our genre. That's only a positive.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he probably doesn't like me, but at the same time, I was like, that's everybody should take it as positive, because I still get people who put stuff in group chats or in and stuff where people are like, "Are you upset that so-and-so's doing well?" And I'm like, I'm not upset if anybody's doing well, because if I don't like them, it just means that hopefully I would like to think that maybe I could improve upon it, or I think you could always try and get some form of inspiration from anything, because YouTube's a fucking mentally
Oh
tiring
God,
game.
yes.
And it will beat you down. So if you're letting the little things, like stuff you can't even control, like there was a point this year where Leon has shot past me for like 200k. I didn't sit there and cry. I just went, and also I was like, I'm glad to see my friends doing well. I know some people who, YouTube is a game though that it's one of those things where a lot of people on it, obviously, it's based on you believing you can put yourself out there to entertain people. So I can understand why some people are super self-conscious about the whole thing. And that's why I feel like if you do surround yourself around good people and people who you want to be around, then you won't have that problem, because I know on my months where I was struggling, I used to get a lot of confidence from the fact that my friends were still doing well. I just accepted that maybe it wasn't my time.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
But aside from the established, though, I mean, with you guys being established, it's a little bit easier to continue. You're sitting at 250,000 a year ago, and you're dead. You said it yourself.
Yeah.
You're still at 250,000 at the end of the day. So is YouTube still that beacon that it once was, where, people who with brand new channels, looking up at Leon Lush, looking up at ImAllexx, looking up at Kavos, looking up at everybody who's there above them, are they still saying, this is the platform where I can go and maybe be them one day? Is that even still possible, or is it just for those who are established?
No, it definitely is. And here's why. I mean, I think no matter what, like the way the internet is, whether YouTube's popping or it's Instagram that's popping or it's Vine that's popping, right? Like there are ways to, it depends on what you want. If a lot of these younger kids growing up watching these guys, they see, watching the Phase Boys with all the money in the cars. A lot of people want that fancy lifestyle. Other people just want that positive affirmation and that feeling they get when, a lot of people knew who I am, blah, blah, blah. And, if somebody wants bad enough, they'll find a way to put in the work to make a name for themselves. And that could be in any arena. Like, I think the problem with a lot of people is, say, for instance, someone that sees what I do and they, they're maybe envious of the position I'm in, so they try to do the same thing and they want to get there. Of course, a lot of people, you look up to people that are maybe somewhere in a place where you want to be, and you try to emulate part of what they do to try to, copy that same formula. But that may not be the right fit for them. Like, I'm not saying what I do is really that difficult. It's not, but I think what I do, the way I make my videos, really plays to my strengths, which is, for me, just, my camera presence, my personality in a sense.
Yeah,
maybe someone trying and someone trying to emulate that might not be what their strength is.
Not the same results.
Working for me, so they do it.
I could agree with that, because like I had minor success in the FIFA community. I got to 10k followers on Twitch. I was like middling out of most of my friends there. And it just dropped off. And then when I joined the commentary stuff, all those guys still follow me today. I still follow them. Those guys have supported me since the beginning. Love the group of friends from that community. Really, really nice. And they always say to me, I was like, fucking hell, like, we're so glad you left FIFA, because it's quite clear that this is what you were meant to do. Right. And that's nice. Also, I used to play football, but quite clearly not a footballer. So with all stuff like that, like you can find your place as long as you're willing to constantly try. Because like for me, I've been on YouTube, I'd say as long as Leon has, even though I'm so fucking young. Because I remember that was the one thing I found really admirable about Leon when I first found his channel was
he succeeded because he was an old man, even in spite of the fact that he was old. Shit.
I could go back and see that he'd been on it for 6 years.
Yeah.
And that's important, because we were probably not getting many views for a long time.
Right. I think that's another important thing. And to kind of answer your original question, Dave, like, I think for anybody, you have to go in with the understanding that it is now, I think YouTube specifically, it is now a marketplace that is so saturated, right? Yeah. Just because everyone between the age of 5 to 20 wants to be a YouTuber for their, for their job, right? So,
right.
But on the same note, it's gained more and more popularity as a platform where people go for entertainment. So, like, even if, there's 100 million other YouTubers with 1 million subscribers, there will still be enough people watching YouTube to find you and like your content if you're putting out something worth watching.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I
And
think
most people don't think that.
and most people don't think about that. They see everyone else being successful and like, oh, like
No room for me.
all the viewers are used up. It's like, no, there's like an infinite amount of people watching YouTube, and any given time, it's just about finding what you're good at and finding a way to get yourself in front of those people. And I think, you know, part of what I think the biggest separating factor that I think separates people that will eventually excel online, if that's what they really want to do, versus those who try and fail, is just resilience and persistence, man. Because 98% of people that know me right now probably think of me as, oh, Leon Lush, like the dude, he made a video about a couple of kids that were pretending they're dying and got like 1 million subscribers in a year. Like, what a lucky piece of shit. How about like the 10 years
grind,
prior to that, where I was uploading to nobody for like 10
when
years.
me and Leon went to VidCon.
I was doing music covers. I was trying to be a social media expert. Like, I went through like 45 different
Snapchat tutorials. I love those.
Snapchat tutorials.
Snapchat tutorials.
I didn't know what. I had no fucking clue what I was doing, and what I wasn't doing was my strengths. And it took me fucking 8 years to finally fall into what I was good at.
Even when we were at VidCon with like, I was on like 80k, Leon 30, we were like some of the fucking smallest YouTubers there out of everybody we knew. Like, we were constantly hanging around with people like Chris Reagan, who was like 500,000 and everything. Yeah. And I remember sitting there being like, oh, I wish I could be those guys. Anthony Fantano, I remember we threw that party and there were so many YouTubers around. I remember I sat in that room. I almost felt like an imposter. I was like, so when people think like, can they be us? Like, we've been in the position where we look at people, go, oh, there's no way. Yeah. But it's really not as far away as people think. It really isn't. Like, I was just talking to James Marriott recently, because he was like, when I hit the 1 million, I think he was the only person in our friendship group really who isn't on it. And I went, yeah, but in the space of like 4 months, you've reached the sub count I was on 3 months ago. Right. I was like, but it's so relative to people. It's so relative.
But how much of that benefit can he attribute to the friendship? So yeah, like Kavos just made a really good point in the chat. The UK scene is doing incredibly well. The UK YouTuber scene is doing really, really well at the moment. So is is that part of the product of why he was able to grow that quickly? I mean, or is it
I want to say something to that point real quick, because I feel like there's this overinflated value of what people think a fucking YouTube shout out will do for you. And I know like,
okay, let's get there. Okay. I like this.
Keemstar likes to take a lot of credit for like making people.
Oh, he's taking all the credit for Kavos right now. Well, all of it.
And here's the thing, like, don't get me wrong. Like, it is beneficial to be endorsed by a large YouTuber, no question. But people think that like that takes you from 10 subscribers to 1 million. No. Nothing will make you grow on YouTube to become a large YouTuber except except for getting recommended by YouTube. That is the only way to get big numbers.
Yeah.
And getting a shout out can help you get there if you play off that momentum, because YouTube's as much of a momentum game as it is a consistency game. But like I remember when I had like 10,000 subscribers, I'd get like people used to shit on me because like I just had made friends with some YouTubers that were bigger than I was, and I remember Colossal's Crazy endorsed me one time, and it's like I gained like 400 subs or something like that. What the fuck?
That's how we.
Guys, you don't have to tell me that. I'm Mr. Catch 33. All right, the shit. I got about 33 fucking subs remaining from those fucking days. All right, so trust me, your boy knows.
So it's just like, and it's so funny because back then we used to shout each other out every like day.
Right.
Like I remember there was a period, there's like a month or 2 months where I did like 3 videos that had Leon in. And then if not, like I would usually use songs or I was in Aaron's video in the green screen clapping. And yeah, it was huge at the beginning. Like it did a lot for me. But then, I got to 100K and my channel went stone dead. Like it was fucking ice cold. Right. And nobody shouted me out from that point onwards. I had to figure out how YouTube worked. I had to finally sit down and go, do you know what? maybe I should download an actual editing software. You know, like I had to go through all of that, and that's the thing. Like, and I will put it down. I think we covered it now. It's like perseverance. Like having friends is great, and having friends will make it go faster, easier, and be way more enjoyable.
Yeah,
right.
But
you still got to put the work in.
If you're meant to do it, people will find you.
Nothing will make you grow like spending time to figure out and learn what makes YouTube tick. Literally just spend time looking at channels that are doing well, look at their thumbnails, look at their titles. I'll tell you right now, click-through rate and average view duration, boom, you're done. That's all you need to fucking know. Those are the two things that matter on YouTube, and if you can figure out how to do well in those two areas, you can be a successful YouTuber.
So how did you figure it out? I mean, what was the click? What was it that gave it to you?
Fucking trial and error about a million times, and I still don't know. Like, I still upload videos that fucking flop. Like what? Like every twice a month.
We even speak to each other on a regular basis, being like, what do these numbers mean? Is this the numbers? Like what we're looking at here? We still don't really have much of a clue, but
the more you study it and look at the analytics, like you just learn little things here and there, and you look at what's worked for you in the past, look at what worked for other people in the past, try and emulate some of those things while maintaining your own style. Yeah. And eventually you can gain a little momentum.
I think if you always make sure at the end of the day what you're doing is true to you,
right,
you can't go wrong.
Right. Like the problem with putting a lot of stock in, I said CTR before, and I'm sorry to abbreviate, that means click-through rate. So that's like obviously
fancy YouTube term. Jesus, you big shot.
Right. But it's a serious statistic that matters. And obviously the whole idea of that is like, oh, well, if it's just click-through rate that matters, I'll just make clickbaity thumbnails and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, there needs to be a balance. Like, yes, you want to make...
Yeah, because if I saw a video on Leon Lush's channel that was like loads of red circles and arrows, I look at it and go, why has Leon done that? I'm not clicking on that. And then the CTR doesn't work for you anymore. Like, click-through rate could be the least clickbaity thumbnail possible if that's what your fans want to see from you. Like,
right.
It's all about having...
It's about the topic.
Understanding. It's about having an understanding of who you already have watching, who you may be able to get to start watching, and who you are and why people want to connect with you. I think the scariest thing you could ask a YouTuber that sends most people into a crisis is, why do you think people watch you? Because a lot of YouTubers don't know. A lot of YouTubers don't know.
Nobody knows.
I think you need to have a basic understanding, though. It's why when I come home, I always ask my friends, why would you watch this? My wife, and they go, we fucking wouldn't. We hate your channel.
Right, as proper friends should. Yeah.
I know, I'm fucked. But yeah, like that's basically YouTube, really. That is how it goes. It's so wavy in and out, but you know, when people look at us too, and I still find that weird to even say out loud. You know, when people go, "Oh, I want to be like Allexx and Leon Lush," when I get tweets like that, I'm like, I remember when me and Leon wanted to be like I'm Allexx and Leon Lush. I was like, and that was really only at the beginning of this year.
Yeah, I never like a million subs 5 months ago. I was like, 2020, 2021, if I'm lucky, if it even ever happens. That's like the thing about the internet is like, it's just anything is fucking possible, right? Which is kind of like the hope,
just
the
what
hope that a lot of people have,
so scared of,
also
too.
the fun of it. Yeah, like that can set you up for years of letdown when you know that anything's possible and nothing happens. But then one video can change everything, or nothing happens and you got to continue to grind for 5 more years. And maybe it'll happen then. Like, it's stressful, but it's like fun and rewarding. And at the end of the day, it's like, I feel so like blessed and fortunate to be able to do this right now, at least for a living. And it's like, it's just pretty surreal. I'm just very thankful for the position I'm in.
Especially like, I remember on VidCon, I was like running off no money because it was like, I think it was just post Ad Crisis.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in LA, I had to pay rent for my place back in the UK, and that put me on like £50 left in my bank account. Oh, shit. And it was such a risk. But I look back at, that's one of my fondest memories I've ever had. Like, just be like, I want to go and see these people, make a shot of it, because I was like, if I do this, you know, I at least the worst thing that could possibly happen is I come out of this with some like friends for life.
Right.
Because there's more you could get from YouTube that people don't realize. It's just like money and fucking fame.
Oh, sure.
It's friends, community, and friendship, man. That's
Which you guys are the epitome of that.
friends.
I mean, I think you guys represent that more than you do even just success on YouTube. You look back at what you guys were a part of at VidCon, and everyone will always talk about that VidCon. I mean, it was an epic thing. You epitomized that. The camaraderie, the friendship that was happening. You guys made it your own con, essentially. I mean, the rest of the con was dog
I'm
shit.
glad because I've been to a lot of YouTube events where I've been to loads now, and nothing ever felt the way that VidCon was. I can't explain it. I think that was right at the prime for everybody. Everybody was like kind of just like moving forward, but at the same time, there's that whole element of like, we're all here because we're mates. Because I think we were very lucky at that point that we didn't have a big group of huge fucking YouTubers. It was just the guys who we started it with, and that's something that I always like to look back on. Because it was a prime moment, I think. I'm glad it came at the time it did.
I want to go back to something that Leon said a second ago because it triggered something in my head. One thing that we saw over the course of 2018, and I know we're going to see a lot more of it in 2019, is mainstream media attacking social media, YouTube in particular, and just people who have made successes of themselves. Now, what Leon just said was anything can happen on the internet. It's something that we're seeing governments try to crack down on, but do you think that's the real reason? Not the fact that maybe mainstream media is not having the same pull or hold that it once has and they're scared of that, but they're just terrified by the fact that literally anything can happen, that any podunk can be endearing enough or connectable enough, relatable enough to get their own power. Do you think that's the real word? Mm-hmm. Thank you, Thomas C, for the $5 too. Sucky $5. Thank you.
No, I'm sure that's a part of it. Like, I don't, I'm not like much of a conspiracy theorist. Like the government's trying to ruin the world, as much as that is very possible. I don't know, but I think when the internet has been deregulated in a sense for a long time, to the point where anybody, like you said, can gain a massive amount of influence from the comfort of their basement, right? So I think a lot of the bigger corporations, especially when money's involved, are trying to figure out how to regulate that and reel that in. And that's kind of where a lot of the problems stem from, with the, the copyright claim issues, the ad crisis, the mainstream media, attacking, so to speak, YouTube. I think for most people, I think it comes down to money for these big corporations, but I think there is a part of it that is about power and control. And when you have, an 18-year-old kid that all of a sudden is wielding an audience of 10 million children around the world, I mean, that can be a force to be reckoned with. Like, that can destroy brands overnight. That can do, it's a lot of shit that can do. You know what I mean? So
create brands overnight.
Create brands, destroy brands.
Fucking JoJo Siwa merch section in her house that she has. Yeah, and it's like she's a kid and she's got merchandise that I couldn't even, like toys and stuff. And it's fucking crazy. Like, it really is.
We're seeing something right now. We talked earlier about just a little bit about Article 13 and everything that's happening with the EU side of it and stuff, but we're seeing it even on the American side a little bit too, where regulations are starting to come down. The internet, I've said this for a while, and I think I said it to both of you when you were on the channel before, it's been the wild, wild west for years, since it's the inception, really. Thanks so much, SCR, for the $25 donation. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you so much for that.
It's a big donation.
Oh, yeah. People are being crazy generous. Thank you guys so much. But it seems like we're seeing more regulation, and the West is now being tamed. Is that going to be the biggest enemy going forward? I mean, mainstream media has tried, and I would say up to a point, failed. Yes, they did trigger the adpocalypse and everything with the PewDiePie situation, and others, not just him, but highlighting these negative things that are coming from YouTube. But is it going to be shifting to this new big bad, which is government regulation, which I think is the thing people should be worried about, because that is what's going to kill a lot of people out there.
You go to hell! You go to hell and you die!
Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I think part of why that's happened, I think looking 10 years ago, it was truly the wild, wild west. Like, this was before social media. This was before, like, having an online, like a Facebook account became integral to your lifestyle and blah, blah, blah. And now that I think we're at a point where, like, there's a big few, like the Twitter, the Facebook, the YouTube, these corporations kind of house, the majority of the world's internet users. and they've become part of our identity, right? And the fact of the matter is, those are all companies that can, they can kind of control, in a sense, what happens, because you've now become a part of them, as opposed to just using the internet to whatever, connect to peers. I think, our identity as humans has become so integral within these networks online, with the way people communicate and interact with each other. It does get a little bit worrying when you see somebody, just using Allexx Jones, for example, regardless of what you think of them, to see them just excommunicated off the internet,
gone,
like with this
Thanos snapped,
That way, not in the sense of the way, they're getting rid of people in many ways. A lot of people don't realize there are other things that companies are doing that people don't even realize are affecting the way that YouTubers or people on the platform have been acting anyway for a while. I think one example, and you could take this or leave it how you want to, but a lot of YouTubers' content would be very different if people didn't know that having a video over 10 minutes would have mid-rolls on it.
Yeah.
So already that's a completely different change in the way that certain YouTubers would be or act, and that means they're putting out different stuff to different people in different ways. Also, the whole no swearing triples your CPM. I've seen a lot of YouTubers who are friends of mine completely get rid of swear words.
Yeah.
And they're not being kicked off the platform. They've been given incentives to change the way that they work. So there's already this weird power, and when you think about that, it can be kind of scary. There's certain stuff that I will always try and never remove from my videos, and I mean, I'm one of the least edgiest people you'll find.
Yeah.
So,
you're about as edgy as a circle. Yeah.
Exactly. No, genuinely, I really am. Because I have no interest. But I remember when I still leave swear words in, but I have friends who refuse to put them in now, and I'm just like, I couldn't do that. So I have to keep them. I want to keep them in. Are
you finding the same, Leon? Are you staying away from the naughty words a little bit more than maybe you did a year ago? Or is that something you're going to be implementing going forward?
Yeah, I mean, well, I have to. I'm not going to deny the fact that you think about it as a YouTuber, especially once it becomes your source of income.
Job,
Now you got something to lose. Now you got something to lose.
That's right. You got something to lose, and you have to walk the line though between not losing yourself and also not losing your job, right? So I think for me and Allexx, for as far as censorship and things goes, Allexx and I, it's what's the hardest thing we deal with? Swearing, right? Saying the word retard or whatever. But
I remember at one point when all the ag crisis stuff happened, I remember saying to you, "It's are you still going to keep on putting the flying dildos in?"
Oh yeah.
Because that was the first thing. I literally went to you and was like, hey, you might want to think about, and that's kind of crazy because that's why it can be scary. I wish that there wasn't as many boundaries as we had to confine to, but at the same time, it probably would have stopped me from making some pretty terrible jokes.
Sure, yeah. So, I mean, I look at my videos from 2 years ago, and I was like,
they were made
so much different. But it's funny because when that did happen, for whatever reason, for those who aren't aware, I found joy in including subliminal dildos in my videos. Sometimes I would just put them in for a frame or two, have them fly in the background or something. I don't know why I thought it was so funny, but I still do it to this day. But when the ad crisis happened, I was like, oh shit. I was like, and you don't know why your videos get demonetized. And I'm like, maybe that's why, but I've kind of used that. That's been kind of my subliminal fuck you to the establishment since then, is keeping videos monetized while flying dildos around in the background. And it's kind of a little game I play with myself.
Do you find it important to still dissent a little bit? I know that's the big thing that people want to do at the moment, is fight against all the cussing and all that type of stuff. Thanks so much for the $5. Is that really you, Leon? I'm not sure if that's really you or not, but thank you. I appreciate the $5 regardless.
So you say to fight against it, why can't we?
Yeah, that seems to be the thing now. People want to either really go against it, but you guys are really talking about picking your battles more than anything else.
Well, this is the thing, Dave. I'm super pragmatic. So for me, is it worth it to spend 40% of my energy fighting a losing battle? Mm-hmm. Is it worth it for me as a father, as a family man, someone who's trying to make a living doing what I love? Or should I just secede and swear a little bit less? I don't some people get super triggered over that, like crazy triggered.
Right, they'll call you a sellout. They'll go fucking
really,
crazy. Yeah,
it's really not. It's really not a big deal. Like, I mean, I've caught myself getting rid of unneeded swear words. I mean, I think that actually made the videos better.
Right, I agree, and I still swear, like, because that's who I am. But it made me reanalyze it and realize I was swearing a little more just to fill content space.
Yeah, it irritates me when somebody puts the Roblox sound effect over a swear word because it's like, find another sound effect as well. Like,
are you taking a shot at me? I did that for like
it might have been a subtle bar.
Everybody's done it. Quackity did it. Niall did it. And I remember just being, use a different one. Don't use that one.
Something.
I switched to
use a beep. I don't care. Just don't use the fucking Roblox sound effect. I hate that.
I switched to a female porn moan recently.
That's worse.
There you go. Completely
just
different
leave the
demographic.
swear word in.
Oh Jesus!
It's
but
just
yeah,
funny.
no. I think the main point that I was just trying to answer was like, yeah, there's quite obviously a hold, and there always will be, but like, there's going to be a hold because like you have to number one, you have to comply for the YouTube terms of service anyway. So it's not like it was ever a free platform to upload whatever you want, you crazy fucker. Like,
people will try to say that though. You know, there's a lot of people who Allexx Jones not being the only one. You know, they're taking away our freedoms. You know, oh my God, we're not going to be able to do anything on the internet anymore.
I think the reason why they do that, and I understand it, is because the companies are so powerful that if you don't over-exaggerate it, nobody will take it seriously.
That's fair.
And I agree with that.
No, that's fair.
I agree with that.
So you think it's basically a marketing tool? It's a way to fight back just by going over the top.
Yeah, you do have to kind of over-exaggerate, because if you don't, you know, it's like high chances are Article 13 or whatever it is wouldn't actually maybe even do much damage. But the fact that there's a chance it could do any damage at all, it's not a damage worth risking. You've got to act like it's the end of the world. You have to. You have to say, we don't fucking want this. We never want this. Get rid of it. Otherwise, it will slip in because, you know, unfortunately, you do. It's an entertainment industry as well. You have to sensationalize everything or nobody cares. Like, I do videos on YouTube. It's called "We Need to Stop," and like if you read that title, you go, "I'm actually going to turn up to KSI's house with a shotgun." But it's like you will click on it, and most of the time, I'm just going to be taking a piss, so on and so forth. But it's I can't do a video and go, "Here's a video." Well, half the time I say that I don't like what he's done, and half the time I make jokes about his hair. Nobody would want to watch that. So it's kind of one of those things where when it comes to like fighting back against that stuff, I get why people sensationalize it. I do. Yeah. It's just isn't that case if you actually speak to people. I don't think it's as much of an issue because I mean I've had more companies and media items reach out to me more than ever. They don't seem to care.
You're right.
No, they don't. I think where it really gets hairy is in the politisphere. Like, you know, me and Allexx are both pretty politically averted as far as our content is concerned. And I think once you start involving ideologies and like belief systems is when censorship becomes, you know, more of an eyebrow raiser. Like when it comes to being a YouTuber and maybe changing your swearing patterns, not as serious, but I don't know. I don't even know how to kind of like approach that topic of like, oh, is Silicon Valley all liberal? Are they really censoring right-wing content? Like, you're just not worrying about it. Yeah, I just don't give a fuck because that's not
nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. B, that's not what I care about. But so I feel like so many people though, they then become like they base their entire identity around paddling upriver, and they become this like. Just their entire content system is based around being
everything.
Right?
Anti-everything.
Yeah.
And it's like
And God, also, I'm not gonna lie. If the fact, if I don't even think people even realize that the swears got censored or whatever. Because like, if you're gonna stop watching my videos because I don't say fuck anymore.
Oh no.
Then I know. Somebody stop me. But if you're just watching my videos for that reason, then like go away anyway.
Right.
Like, I don't want that person watching my stuff.
Exactly. Whatever. I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Yeah, I'm not bothered by it.
Yeah.
Now I want to switch gears just a little bit because believe it or not, we've already gone an hour, and I know Leon's only got about another half hour before he's got to take off. I know it's.
Let me just say, you did a great Alex Jones impressions, by the way.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate. I'm working on that one.
Good.
There might be something coming with that as well. I might have something up my sleeve on that. That's why it sounded good. I've been working on something, but that's for another date. But I wanted to ask you guys a couple topical things, if you didn't mind, and then I also want to give about 10 minutes to take some calls. You guys cool with both of those things?
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. All right, well, let's start with something that all three of us talked about every time that I had both of you guys on in the past. We talked about Keemstar, business, how can you not, and all that. And we are at this beautiful time of year where Keem is having a yearly meltdown. It's what he does. And it's fantastic to watch. My God, the hypocrisy, the craziness, all the stuff that spouts out of his mouth. What do you see? Yeah, my God, the videos especially. What do you see with this current meltdown? That's what I'm going to keep calling it that. I don't care if people get pissed off that I'm calling it that. I don't give a fuck. It is, especially considering it's another backstab moment. It's another time where he has gone and just slipped a knife into somebody's back. This time, Kavos. How do you feel about that? Is this something that you're just kind of indifferent to? Are you over it? Where you at with that, Allexx?
I suppose I'll go first. I mean, I think when I saw it happen, especially like the way Reed told the story the other day, you know, I don't see his stuff anymore. Like I avoid him at all costs. It normally just gets linked to me by other people because I find it boring now. Like we did this for a year and it was just us kind of throwing epithets at each other and nothing really ever got done. It was more done for the entertainment of others and more than anything. Like it didn't seem like, because I never felt like I was ever getting anywhere with him.
Yeah,
because he doesn't care.
No.
But I think this one was an interesting move because of the fact that, you know, there aren't many people who were on his side. Yeah. And I know he's got friends who love how much money he's got. Because I really can't believe that he has friends because of the fact that he's an incredible guy, as much as people will constantly tell me when they meet me at YouTube events. I just can't believe it. You know, when you see somebody who didn't even seem to do anything.
Kavos did nothing.
I think he gets bored. I think it's the only way to describe it because I don't think he actually cares. I've said this forever, which is why I really try to avoid acknowledging him because I don't think he actually gives a single fuck. Like he is minted. His house is beautiful. He's got a family. The guy's got everything he could want, really. You'd like to think. As much as he will keep on telling people he does on Twitter. So I would like to assume that he generally just does this to pass the time, and this is one of the ways he does it is by.
Do you agree with that? You agree with that, Leon? Really?
Yeah. Well, first off, I'm a little bit removed from the situation. I haven't been super interested.
Well, you're on his favorite YouTube list this year, so yeah.
Yeah, no, that's you know, that always feels good. That feels good, and I probably don't share, just being upfront, I don't think I share the same disdain for him that maybe you and Allexx and you know Tommy do.
No, you didn't last year too. To be fair, you didn't. We bashed him a little bit last year, but you certainly didn't have vitriol for him. Yeah, I agree with that.
No vitriol. I think he's a very interesting character. I think he's. It's tough to kind of explain Keemstar. I think if you were to try to explain him to somebody else, but I think you can't deny that he's an integral role in our community, regardless of what capacity that is for the individual end user.
Right.
But I don't think from a tweet I saw, he said that like Kavos had started like a new show or something.
Yeah, he started doing what Keem was doing. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, I don't know. Like I don't think Keemstar should feel threatened by that, and B, you know, I don't know. Kavos can do whatever the fuck he wants when it comes to content. It's
just weird. Like if Keem believes that he made him, and then the guy goes on to do a show similar to his, at the end of the day, you should just look at it and go, "Well, I'm going to help nurture you into building." I always say it's like you could building 2 towers is better than building one really tall one. Because if the one really tall one falls over, what do you have left? You've got no fucking tower.
Well, not only that, but I think if I was Keemstar, I'd look at that and just use that to motivate me to continue to get better. Because it's like, you know, Keem's, you know, Drama Alert's obviously, as far as I would say YouTube drama is concerned, obviously the #1 channel on YouTube, right? As far as number one source for news,
specifically for YouTube drama. I'd agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think competition breeds innovation, and I think for Keemstar, he should use that as, someone else is trying to do the same thing, and other people have tried in the past, and obviously he's tried and failed. But yeah, as far as his whole demeanor online, the way he acts on Twitter, the Twitter videos, like I think part of him just doesn't give a fuck. I don't think it's that he doesn't care. I think he cares about the community.
Right.
I think he just has a personality type that is very abrasive.
I'd say he cares some days. I think there's a reason why he's inconsistent, because on certain days he really does care, and I feel the same.
Any day he might fucking menstruate, and then he cares all of a sudden. You both kind of alluded to the fact that you kind of think that he's playing a character, and that maybe this is just kind of, him working everybody or whatever the case may be. But it seems like he takes things fucking really personally.
I wouldn't say a character, because that was the defense he used, and I can understand why he'd come to that conclusion.
But he has to use it, yeah.
I see it as more of a... because you can be inconsistent on stuff on YouTube. I get it, because it's such a weird place. I always find my opinion is constantly changing on YouTube stuff all the time. On YouTube people, and sometimes I think this is the worst thing you could do, and I go, actually no, it's actually not that bad. So I understand why he bounces around the walls like a fucking like the bounciest ball you ever see.
Right.
But ignore the fact that it's just. I think that. Also, you get patterns, right? I think he's so used to doing what he does, where he just makes the Twitter video.
Yeah.
Lather, rinse,
repeat. I think that ultimately Keemstar is a master at being top of mind. That's like he's perfected that craft. And like I'm going to use the whole Marina Joyce thing as an example that happened recently.
Yeah.
Like there's not a bone in my body that thinks that Keemstar gives a fuck about Marina Joyce or what drugs she's done or anything, but he knows exactly how to keep his name in people's Twitter feeds and in people's brains, and that's why he's such a good businessman. And the like a large part of me respects that. Sure. It's not the way I would do it. It's definitely not the way I would do it.
Yeah.
But as far as it's tough for me to kind of judge who he is as a person.
None of us
know. I think he's so integrated just what he does on the internet, like off camera, like maybe he could be a fantastic dad.
Yeah, you see, I hear
like
that.
A great friend. I don't know.
I hear that all the time, and this is the one thing I always get is YouTubers always do this weird thing where I've met YouTubers who I didn't necessarily like of it, and you will never meet, unless they're fucking insane, you will never meet a YouTuber in person who is fucking crazy and horrible as they are online.
Why would they be?
Unless they are a fucking nutcase with no social awareness, they will not do that.
Right.
And when people come up to me and go, "Oh well, when I met Keemstar, he was so lovely," I'm like, "Well, I fucking hope so." Because if I ran into him and he was acting like how he does on Twitter for the first 5 minutes, I'd leave.
Yeah, like I
wouldn't want to be around him anymore.
I got recent comments on the Mr. Beast Circle video because
Rice Gum.
Yeah, because I was there with Rice Gum. I interacted with people like, "Oh, I can't believe you gave Rice Gum Dez," or said hi, and I'm like, I was at his house. Should I just walk up to him and punch him in the mouth?
Tell him to fuck off.
What are you supposed to do then? Whip out my dick and piss in the corner? What are you supposed to do?
I got the exact same thing when fucking KSI told the story about me meeting him at his premiere, and people were like, "You make all these videos about him online, and then what are you going to do in person?" Well, I actually do go up to YouTubers in person. In case I can leave out of this story because it suits him. But when I met Pointless Blog, when I met KSI, when I met anybody who I've done videos on, Mango Tango at VidCon, I always say, if you want to speak about the videos I made, we'll do it. And guess what everybody always says?
They don't care.
They say, "No, I don't want to talk about that."
Yeah.
They don't care about the video I made. People don't, so... With Keem, the only thing I disagree with there, and I get it, I don't want to make enemies of people. It's never my plan.
I'm not trying to put you in that position either, by the way. That's not.
Oh no, don't worry. I've been in that position. It's very clear how I feel about Daniel Keem, so you're not putting me in that position at all, Dave. And the thing is, I think we can all agree, he's the only YouTuber who I have consistently gone at that way, because he is the only YouTuber. Honestly, I find Logan Paul's bearable. he's the only YouTuber who I look at and I go, oh no, there's no room for me wanting to be friends with you.
Right.
I do believe that, you know, I meet a lot of YouTubers I make videos on, and they come up to me and they say these exact words every time. Oh, well, you know, it's just fun and games on the internet, man. It doesn't really mean anything. And I remember I said, you make videos about Minecraft babies, like, hooking up with each other. Of course it means something in real life, you fucking idiot. That's not, the internet's a real thing.
Right.
You know, your actions on the internet should be held accountable for. I'm sorry. Like, I do
well, that's
like,
coming. That's a coming.
I do feel like with King, he really gets away with the fact that a lot of YouTubers are pussies. A lot of YouTubers are social climbers. So when they do meet him, they already don't want to fight him anyway, because they are. Right. You should be scared of him, really.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. If you've got stuff to fucking hide as well, then cower in fear at Daniel King, because that man is relentless.
Especially if you've slighted him. If you've slighted him, he does not let it go. He just ever. It's just never lets it go.
I've never been bothered about King coming after me or saying any of the stuff he does, because like there's nothing he could say or do, and I put myself in that position because I didn't want it to ever be misconstrued that me and him would ever be friends anyway.
Right.
You know, like I don't want that. I don't want him being associated with anything near me. Like I really find that guy, the way he acts online is unbearable. And I think it's like viciousness sometimes for the sake of no viciousness at all.
Is
like
he a necessary evil though?
Wrong.
Is he necessary to this whole ecosystem on YouTube? Do we need somebody like that? Is it that important? I mean, we always have these.
If it wasn't him, it would be someone else.
Right. Do you believe that to be true as well, Leon?
No, I think he plays the role of the villain pretty well when he wants to, or just in general, I think, yeah.
Yeah, and he enjoys it.
That's what I mean. For me, just looking at it from the top down, like, I can't say that I don't get into, like, I'm not entertained by some of the fucking bullshit that he does. Like, I learned a while ago, for me personally, to try and stay out of it completely. Yeah. Just because, like Alex said, he is relentless, and I don't know, like, I don't necessarily agree with everything he does or how he handles things, but it is fucking
it's
entertainment.
I've been watching him since Drama was being sniped off the platform. Yeah. You know, I remember when YouTube terminated a Drama channel a day, they get to about 4K subs, they'd be terminated. Like, I followed this guy for a long time, and at some points I found him incredibly entertaining when he's going after the people I didn't like, obviously. But sometimes he go after people who I really know don't deserve it. It's obvious so, and he can say stuff and make things up that, in my opinion, would be unforgivable. If it was Keemstar now, if this Keemstar now had been Keemstar all the time where he just says mean things, or he goes, oh, fuck, ImAllexx stuff, I'd find it bearable. But I think the one thing for Keem is that I don't like him because of that 2016 Keemstar.
Right.
You know, I find 2016, 2015 Keemstar, that guy was not just playing the villain, like, he was the
villain. Yeah, I mean,
I loved him. I loved his videos when he was playing the villain. I remember those drama alerts. I remember when the Woody's gamer tags and that lot would fucking complain about him on PK all the time, and I found that guy entertaining when he was doing Call of Duty commentary, but there was a certain part where I think he got way too carried away with it, and it became like, what the fuck are you doing, man? This is insane. And the entertainment value was completely lost for me, like, because it just became psychopathic almost.
This seems like it's a really obvious thing that I'm going to say, and maybe it is. I'm pretty stupid, so maybe it is. But the thing that maddens me, the only thing that makes me crazy is the fact that we've seen him do the same thing over and over and over, yet people continue to go into bed with the guy. Now, the obvious answer for that is because he makes people successful. That's irrefutable. It's irrefutable. He does. His rub means something. But should it continue to be the driving factor of these young, impressionable people that are coming into his world and then having to deal with him when he inevitably fucks him in the ass, just like he's trying to do to Kavos right now?
What I will say is, and like, no offense to people like Kavos who are listening, or the Turkey Toms, or I mean, even when he added you to the group chat, Leon. Obviously, when you got added, you don't do anything to piss anybody off, so you wouldn't have this problem.
Everyone loves Leon.
And also, and if Kim suddenly turned on you, it'd be because you haven't spoken to him in 6 months. It wouldn't be for any other reason, you know. Right. But I looked at everybody else who's being picked up on him. Even James Marriott at one point, you know, he was speaking to him, and I remember just looking at those guys, and I was like, if you were stupid enough to make friends with a guy who
get what you
literally lost. Yeah, I was like, you fucking deserve it, man. You fucking deserve it. Like, I don't feel sorry for people on that thing. I feel like it's a good learning curve as well, because I've had that with YouTubers who I thought were lovely people, and I've come out of it going, oh, fucking hell, that was a mistake.
I think I'd feel the same as you if these weren't, in most cases, kids. You know, 15, some as young as like Aiden, 12, 13 years old. That shit fucking worries me.
Fucked up, yeah.
Leon, what do you think?
It's fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what happened with the Aiden case. I just know he got like a big shout out from Keem, getting a bunch of subs and shit. I don't. Was there some sort of?
Oh, he's done nothing to Aiden. No, I want to make that real clear. He's done nothing to Aiden. To he hasn't stabbed him in the back yet. No, that hasn't happened yet. It will eventually, but it hasn't happened yet.
Ironically, Aiden is one of those people who, you know, even in the Billy situation and all of that stuff, like, everybody kept on treating him like he was a 12-year-old kid. But I've spoken to Aiden, like, he's a 20-year-old man in a 12-year-old kid's body. Like, he fucking knows what he's doing. Like, he has a brain. He really does. Like, if Keem thinks that he's manipulating that 12-year-old, Keem is stupid. That 12-year-old probably has, like, Aiden, at points, I would look at it and I was like, I don't think Keem kind of realizes what he was dealing with there. I was like, I think Aiden had a lot of people on strings. I'll say that. You know, there's a reason. It's worrying, but he fucking did. Like, I know a lot of people who, I would watch the way that Aiden would do things, and I would be like, oh man, people really do just think this is an innocent 12-year-old. Oh man, they're gonna get a surprise.
All that being said about Aiden, especially with the early days when he hit the 200, like immediately, he was leaving Twitter, coming back, going away. It seemed like he was having a little bit of problems dealing with the ups and downs of it. And of course, he's going to. He's 12.
He was mentally strong, and he did that, and he did act like an adult, and he was smarter than 90% of my YouTube friends. Like, he's still a kid, and it's still not something that you should be encouraging. Also, like, Keem's one of those people where. And you watch all YouTubers do it, so I'm not going to necessarily blame Keem for this.
It's not just Keem. No, it's not just Keem.
People will follow in the footsteps of the person who made them,
right?
Or in the person who wants to help them. Yeah. Because you want to be friends with that person, like, and being a YouTuber is a cool thing. Like, I don't like Keem, but I understand why people find him so interesting or look up to him in a way. Like, the guy has a lot of things that most people would want, you know.
Yeah.
And I can see why people follow his footsteps, but I think that it can be dangerous because now, Keem is famously known for not having a filter, and that's one of the reasons why he got in so much trouble all the time. But I don't think he still has a filter even for his filter. I feel like there is a part. Like, there is a part of Keem where, it will only ever get so out of the Keem character, you know?
Right.
If we even believe it's a character or not.
Interesting.
But kids don't have that. And also, Keem has made a career of having no filter. Aiden, how many? I don't even know. Does he even upload anymore? But he said all this, he's probably said some really terrible stuff on the internet now.
Sure.
But it's going to be out there forever, you know? One of the things I know is that YouTube may make me unhireable. And I'm, as I've said, soft as shit. So
save your money. Save your money.
Yeah, you know, I that's the one thing. That when I do look at that, I think that Keem is not the role model you want on YouTube if you're a young kid, because of the fact that you might not be as successful as Daniel Keem.
Right.
I'll give him credit for that, or give him fucking credit for that. One of the reasons why Daniel Keem could be Daniel Keem, because Daniel Keem makes a lot of money being Daniel Keem.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Now, last thing on the whole Keem thing, I want to move on to something real quick, and then we're going to take calls, and I'll get Leon out of here. And if you want to stick around, Allexx, you absolutely can. If you want to go a little bit longer, that's totally cool.
Sure. I'm fine by that.
Leon, with everything we just said about, especially hearing what Allexx just said with the kids, you've recently become a father. You know, you're a little bit older, like me, an old fogey. Does any of that come into your mindset?
Recently become a father, yes.
Say that again.
I'm a dad now.
No, not you.
I don't want to tell anybody yet. I am a dad now, everyone. So
just because George is 4'5" doesn't mean my son.
No, but for you, Leon, has things changed, at least in that mindset with, kids and being impressionable with the internet? And do you worry about your own impression on people of that age now that you are a father and, you're getting older and stuff? You're an old man like me, I mean, how do you feel about that?
Yeah. I certainly think about it. I mean, I think a lot of people get confused between what's edgy and what. I don't know, man. It's a tough area. Like, you know, some people would look at me and be like, oh, this dude's on the internet. He's like swearing and like he makes like sexual innuendos and jokes about like dark topics. Like he's such a bad role model for kids, right? And it's like, am I though? Like these are like stupid little surface level things, but at the end of the day, like I'm an honest family man that has integrity. I'm authentic. Like those are the things that I value, the things that matter to me. Yeah. And I think those things come through in my videos. And I think that's a good example for kids. Like, you know, you can have these like, you know, AKA brand friendly YouTubers like Jake and Logan Paul were a year ago, you know, YouTube gods. Like I thought they were the worst possible role model for kids. Yeah. The worst possible role model for kids, yet they were what the public considered, you know. So I don't know. Like I think about it, yes, because my son, he's still so young that like it hasn't really caught up to me, right? Because but once he starts getting to that age where it's like he wants a phone and he wants to get online, like I'll definitely start thinking about it more. But people always say like, oh, I can't believe you did that. Like your son's going to see that in a bunch of years. It's like, you know what? I don't care, man. I have no shame. Like I am who I am. I know who I am. I'm very confident in my feeling of self and like just my style of humor and the way I do things and get points across. I have nothing. I have no regrets in that sense.
See, I have a small anecdote on this because I have a 13-year-old daughter going to be 14 in April. And I never really thought about it too much, anything that I've done on the internet, because I'm like you. I don't give a fuck. I just do what I want, and whatever makes me laugh, I'm going to put up. And, you know, people can take it for what it's worth. But I had some cringy shit back in I still do cringy shit, but I had cringy shit back in my early days when I was just mainly doing wrestling. I had this one where I took off my shirt, you know, and just went fucking crazy, went ballistic. And it was a good bit. It was a really good bit. But I thought about my daughter and her friends watching that video. I just killed my daughter. You know, it's just like it's done. Her social life is fucking over.
But think about her, like someone pulls it up at school on their phone or something and shows the whole cafeteria. Yeah.
All the little German kids just making fun of Alicia's fat American father. Yeah, you know, that's a concern.
I think like part of it's like on us though to like, you know, I want to raise my son to like be confident in himself enough to be like, yo, that's my dad. He's a fucking weird motherfucker, but like I love the dude because he loves me. And like that's like my goal in life is not to like try and tiptoe around shit. It's just to like teach my kid how to take that shit head on and be like unashamed and unabashedly himself, like whatever that is. Like super pumped to be able to try and kind of like be a role model in that sense, like to just really, you know, raise a kid that's like confident in himself no matter, you know. And I think about these fathers that are like, oh, if they're, you know, their kid doesn't play sports or he turns out a different way that they like him, they like shun him. I'm like, bro, like I think it's so fucking cool. I can't wait to see how my kid turns out. Like I'm gonna try and like play sports with him and shit, but if he wants to like sit in the house and like solder electronics and be a fucking nerd, that's fine. If he wants to fucking go on Broadway and sing and start kissing dudes, like I'm gonna love the fucking kid, like regardless. Like it's crazy, man.
You're getting to read a book while it's being written, you know, while watching your child. That's essentially what it is. It's an awesome thing. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just fucking wild, man. I don't know. Like
that's the answer I expected.
Everything could be different a year from now.
Right.
I'm just doing the best I can with where I'm at.
Fair enough. Quick calls, guys. You want to take a couple calls?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
awesome. Yeah. Because I didn't think the show could get any bigger. I really didn't, but it can because here comes motherfucking Tommy C. Holy shit. Oh my God. Hey, everyone bow. We just got bigger. Tommy C's in the house. What's going on, bud?
Congratulations on the Quentin Reviews interview. I agree. Guys that get in bed with Keemstar, total assholes.
Just speak talking to two of them right now.
Don't say that I didn't warn you guys ever. So I
didn't know you. What are you talking about?
I made it clear the very few times we came across, so I was not a fan.
No, you didn't.
Is Allexx spiking the football right now? I think he is.
Yeah, he told me in London that was a really bad move you made. I was like, thanks for telling me.
Yeah, a bit late.
Can I ask you a question?
I do have a question.
Wait. Leon's got a question for you first. I got to hear this. Hold on.
What?
I just want to know, like, just over the last year or two, like, what do you think was different about Keemstar and Oliver's relationship that has made that, like, I don't know, like, I feel like that's a unique
I think he has something on him.
Yeah.
I mean, I could answer it just from like briefly speaking.
I think
because I have a lot of respect for Oliver. And
oh, he's the best.
He gives Keem a lot of credibility.
Oliver has a lot of fun with Keem, because I asked him, I straight up asked Oliver, I was like, why? It's like, why do you? And he was like, it's fun. Like, and I always got that, like, even when I was in calls with those guys briefly, it would always be enjoyable. It would always be enjoyable, even though it was just Keem normally shouting at me whilst he was going for a drive-through. Like, it was fun. Like, it was fun to be in them, but I couldn't bear him. But that was one of the reasons why it was fun. I think, I mean, I don't want to ruin a friendship, but that's my opinion on it. Yeah. You know, that's why I would still be there. Would be the way I'd put it.
It's always just interested me just from the dynamic I think that they have when I like will listen to him on a baited or whatever. Where like Colossal is like Keem's antagonist basically.
Yes.
And Keemstar I feel like wouldn't allow that from really anybody else. But with Colossal, it's like an okay dynamic they have. And I don't really know why. I don't really know why it works. I think they have a lot of respect for each other, and I think that's fine. But I'm curious because we were talking about people getting into bed with Keem business wise, and there's been a lot of obviously experiences that have come from that would maybe cause people to not want to deter people.
I don't even mean business.
Oh, will you just call me a fucking moron?
I don't even want to put it all down to business. I was like, I'm sure a lot of people generally become friends with the guy, but I don't know. I always felt like business or friendship, like, I always felt like the people who I've spoken to, for example, the bigger YouTubers, who I won't name, it seemed like one of the reasons why they always liked him is because he made them a lot of money. And that was...
Well, I could say that for 100%. That's
for Tommy, that's confirmed.
I don't even know if Keem knows that a lot of these people... but that's the thing about YouTubers, like, even at the top, like, some of the guys that you meet, like, who I had a lot of respect for, like, when they mention Keem's a very interesting one. It divides a lot of YouTubers in the way that I think about them after I meet them. Because a lot of people be like, you should... I remember one YouTuber specifically like, no, you shouldn't go too hard on Keem. Like, he could really help you out. And I was like, I don't care. So,
I feel like Keemstar is like the Donald Trump of YouTube, basically.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
some
just,
ways.
like, there's no. Yeah, it's a lot like people either just are like so angry towards him or they're like totally cool. I don't know, but anyways, I was just curious. No real motive to that question, and I just want to give Oliver a quick shout out too, because he was the first YouTuber, one of the first YouTubers that had any sort of, I guess, reputability in the community that gave me a plug back when I had like 5,000 subscribers.
He helped out Allexx a lot too.
I think we could say that Clown helped each and every one of us out.
Everybody in the room.
Everyone in the room
has
a little bit.
Big up to him.
And he never held it over my head.
No?
Just a genuinely nice dude.
No, same. Like, I mean, I spoke to him the other day. And
I gotta get him back on here
because he never really actually, he never ever used it for anything.
But then he told you that you didn't deserve 1 million subs, let me guess.
Yeah, he might have said that.
All right, Tommy, you had a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
I did. Have you followed the way Quentin Reviews has handled his controversy? Because this is what's the thing about me.
I met that guy at VidCon, and then...
Nice guy, right?
I found him interesting because he was wearing Nerd City's badge for the whole thing, so I couldn't work out who Nerd City was. So that was my big experience of Quentin Reviews. I barely spoke to him. He mainly spent his time speaking to Anthony and that lot. But I think I actually only remember one interaction with him. He came up to me and he went, "Do you know what, man? I really don't fucking like your videos."
He said that, right? I don't understand that. I hate that.
I love that.
I stood there and just went, "Thanks."
Good.
Yeah. So I'm the same. I haven't really had a lot of interaction with him. I've followed him on Twitter forever, so I see his tweets. But just from what I've heard through some mutuals, maybe leaves a little to be desired as far as
it's public now. That's
okay. Yeah.
Public now, and it's trying to make this as short as possible, and then I want to get your. He took some difficult political stances, which is putting it kindly. Those difficult is, you like Trump, you're an idiot, you need to die. That's a difficult one. That's tough to get over. I'm of course being hyperbolic, of course.
That's like calling what's going on with the Catholic Church unfortunate circumstances right now, Tommy, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly. And then it sort of backfired on him. And when YouTubers smell blood,
boom.
So I would say like the mid-tier YouTubers really started hammering him, and the videos I saw were quite good. They didn't seem to be just cashing in. They got him dead to rights. And Turkey Tom puts his tweet in our chat. He got an article on Encyclopedia Dramatica.
Encyclopedia Dramatica.
You made it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Quentin is a soy boy. He's a disgusting, fat, retarded YouTuber. He consists of, and then he quote tweets the article. He says, "They're spreading lies about me on Dramatica," and I just wonder, like,
that's clever. How
do you handle when you are in trouble? How do you handle that? The minuses.
Depending on it really depends on what you've done. Like,
yeah,
I remember when, for example, when Kavos made that video on me, I had everybody rushing to me, go, "What are you gonna do about it?" And I was like, "Nothing."
Yeah, I know.
I was like, "What am I gonna do about it?" Like, I make videos of people all the time, so
yeah.
Do you felt that was the right move?
Do you reckon?
I think
nothing happens.
Yeah, but do you wish
happens.
the part you want to hit back?
No.
Okay.
I didn't care.
It's not 100% true, because when he went after your buddy, you felt a little different.
Yeah, because I don't like it when people go after my friends, but if people go after me, that's fine.
Yeah, it's not nothing.
Tommy can empathize.
I wasn't happy when he went after Brandon because of the fact that, and the main reason why, and I've said this to people now, it's like, Brandon was being treated poorly by his own fucking friends. Like,
really,
Brandon. I mean, me and him don't talk anymore. But I'm not going to go back and shit on a previous friendship for the sake of the fact that now that there's, it may not exist. But it was one of the things where Brandon was one of those people. He was hardworking. He was balancing his school. Like, the guy literally fucking stopped going to fucking. He changed schools so that he could spend more time making YouTube videos. Yeah. The guy, like, he was passionate.
He's kind of like Aiden.
I was totally fine with people saying that our videos are shit. You could do that, but I think it was the fact that people always went after Brandon as a person, and Brandon was he was so carefree that he literally would complain if I defended him. Because he'd be like, really? Don't even waste. He's like, you're wasting your time, like, wasting on me. So that's the reason why, like, I ever was vocal about it in the first place anyway, because it's the only time I really even am. It's when people go after my mates, because, I would like to think that my friends would back me up if it was.
I think in a roundabout way, whether you intended to or not, you answered my question. You're a guy who makes videos on people, and somebody made a video on you, and to act like it's the end of the world is just.
I know people who lose their fucking. Stupid. I know people who lose their mind, their fucking mind. Yeah, IBKeep's one of them. I mean, but even like perfectly ordinary YouTubers that lose their mind. Like, what am I gonna do? I'm looking at the video and I go, lads, you got 1,000 views in 24 hours. You get that in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Why are you fucking what?
Leon, you actually have had a few attack videos about one or two, right?
I feel like nobody attacks Leon. I don't know. I don't feel like anybody goes after Leon.
I had the cunts who run the Luxury Pranks channel botted my YouTube channel and fucked up.
Those guys. They weren't a big fan.
That was good, but I can't think of many. Yeah, I've certainly had like a couple of mentions in videos like, oh, this fucking fat idiot dressing like he's 15, blah blah blah, things like that. Just like surface level shit that is.
I also think people forget it's quite bigger than it is. Like,
I can't relate.
Like, this is the thing. If it's one thing for like one person to make a video on you, another thing for a community to turn on you as a whole. I think when that happens, you really have to start eliciting your self-awareness and be like, okay, before I react to this somehow, I need to really look at the situation and figure out if the community is just banding together to shit on me because it's fun, or maybe someone spearheaded this campaign based on something bullshit and I really need to defend myself, or do they have some legitimate points here and I've just been a little blinded by whatever, becoming a 1 million plus YouTuber, and all of a sudden I stopped seeing things maybe with a level head and really find a way to come to terms with if you have something you need to change, and then find a way to do that moving forward.
Ninja!
I hope I hope I don't have to. I hope I don't have to go through that. I mean, I don't try not to make videos that like would elicit some sort of like attack response. I try to keep it somewhat like.
You never get on my list. You are never in my newsfeed.
But yeah, but this is the thing. Like it's at some point at 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million subs. If the Lord blesses me to get there, something will happen. As small as it might be. I mean, you talk about just H3H3 for example. Overall, I think a pretty good guy. But
I know H pretty sure.
A videos made about him, about how he's an awkward podcast host.
Imagine making videos on H3H3. I'd never do that. No, I haven't. No,
he disappears for a few months, comes back, tries to sell you a mobile game, and it's like the whole like community like wanted him to
just wanted his blood.
But this is the thing with Ethan. Like, I remember looking at everything he did, and it was also avoidable. But that's when
it was very avoidable.
It was sat a touch. It's like I just upload a shit video, just upload a reaction video before you upload the mobile game, and then he wouldn't even have got half the backlash he did.
Right.
Don't upload 5 podcasts a week, you fucking mug. I don't care how much money the podcast makes you. Because it's one of those things. Let's say the Campcast takes off like 1 million views an episode. I wouldn't do a Campcast a day because the only reason people are watching the Campcast is because they liked the original YouTube videos.
Yeah.
So like he was stupid. I'm
not defending all of his actions. I think he definitely made some missteps for sure.
He also fixed it. His new videos aren't that bad.
No, he did. He said, fuck it, I'll come back.
I messaged him. I messaged him when he did the YouTube Rewind video, and I said, I said, if you'd just been doing this for the last 3 years, you would have avoided every single video made on you.
Right. He did do the podcast episode too, where he started out the first half an hour talking about how he was going through a dark time when he was depressed and he was getting therapy and he was taking medicine and all these things. And I feel like mental health is such a fucking weird thing on the internet.
Right now we have the counterculture of it going on,
because it's so many things. It's like it's a crutch. It's also a serious problem.
Sure.
And it's also something that can be used as a scapegoat. And it's and how do you know? Like,
what do you do if it's real?
Right.
Yeah. It's like being in the army and you get sick. Everybody, he's fucking trying to get out of PT, some shit like
There's
that.
no way of knowing until the guy fucking offs himself. It's
that's
terrible.
What I mean.
It's fucking terrifying. That's fucking awful, man. It's like the highest stakes. Who played that fucking game? It's like the worst game ever.
Brilliant.
All right. Listen, I'm going to go. Thanks for taking me for so long. All the best to Lush. All the best to you, Allexx. I'm so proud of you guys. Give us more. Take care.
Take care, buddy.
All right, let's bring in... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I just wanted to briefly touch on the H3H3 stuff, actually, because I think he's one of those people where, like, when it comes to these people making videos on you and so forth, and, like, with the Quentin reviews thing and, like, how you react, like... It is just all about the reaction, and number one, like if you give no reaction, you already don't shed any light from your side onto it, And if you see a video, and even if you think it resonates with you, I think the bigger man thing to do, which I really appreciate Ethan for, is that Ethan followed me back and spoke to me about it.
Yeah, that's stand up. That's very stand. He didn't have to do that. That's very stand up.
He didn't have to do that. And when I meet YouTubers and they do say, yeah, let's talk about the videos, I respect that. And I think that's definitely the way forward. I think you should always be looking to fix it. But, I've seen videos have been made on me, and I watched it, but I just sat there almost in shock. Right. Just like, Jesus Christ. Like, I will go to my friends, I would go, do people actually believe this? Some videos people make on people are fucking batshit crazy.
It's interesting. Yeah, you with the right amount of time, you can really make someone look bad by pulling a ton of things out of context and stringing them together into 10 minutes.
Even the prime example.
Wall Street Journal.
That's true, and that's true for any of us. Anyone could make us look bad.
And times change as well. So like content changes, and like content 2 years ago is something that you could use now to go back. Like after the Logan Paul thing, I found so many videos of big YouTubers upload videos of dead people in them. So many. I'm not joking. Loads of them.
Most of them didn't have 15 million subscribers.
So nobody cares.
Scope matters. Micro versus macro. It does fucking matter, man.
It certainly does.
I want to bring in. I want to bring in a gay
touch on
rab real quick because I don't know how many times you guys will ever get a question from a gay rab. So let's go ahead and bring in Tobes real fast. I know Leon's got to go really soon, so I want to get Tobes in here.
About 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay, cool. Tobes, bringing you in before Leon's got to skedaddle. What do you got for us? Yeah, my favorite gay rab.
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing?
What's up, dude?
How are you?
I'm flustered a bit. Sorry.
That's fine.
I do have a question. There seems to be like a weird trend of like YouTubers who sort of grow their channel in one genre, magically wanting to switch into another genre, and there's always backlash and stuff like that. And I wanted to get your thoughts. On
I mean, I think a prime example is like people who for YouTubers want to be musicians. That's a big switch that you always see happening all the time.
We're seeing Bionic Pig right now. He's getting shit because he's going more musical than ever before.
Yeah, which is so funny because everybody knows Aaron always knows that he was a musician before he was a YouTuber. So it's even with that sort of things I've been encouraging him to do because he has a genuine talent there. I think it's one of those things where I want to be able to go on to do more live stuff, and I think if it suits what you've already been making and it's obviously you're passionate about it and it's good, I think people would avoid that. I think one of the reasons why people do get so much shit for switching is because of the fact that they switch and become worse most times. And sometimes they switch for reasons people like the music switch. One of the reasons people switch to music is because it makes so much money. And it's obvious that's why most people are switching there.
Well, yeah. Leon, you have an interesting point on this, I would figure, because, I mean, you're a musical guy.
Right. Yeah. I think there's a lot of different reasons why that happens for people. I think part of the reason is you do on YouTube, you find a lot of YouTubers find something that works for them and helps them grow. They become bigger YouTubers and they've done it for so long. They feel obligated to continue doing it. But there's that part of being a creative person that always wants to try and kind of break new ground and try new things.
Even if you're terrible at it.
Even if you're not good at it. And I think you really have to be smart about it. And a lot of YouTubers aren't. Like if you want to introduce a new style of content to your channel, you have to take heavy consideration to the fact that most of your audience is there for one thing and not just all of a sudden give them something else and forget about that one thing. So I think it's I don't know, like for me, like, yeah, I used to do just music covers back in the day, but then I left for fucking 6 years and came back. So it wasn't like I was transitioning. It was like I was starting new. So that wasn't my experience, was having to transition. But I used to do more music 2 years ago when I first started. Now I do, more commentary stuff. But I think it's important for the YouTuber, to try and kind of stay fresh and really feel like they love what they're doing, to feel okay with trying new things. But I think it's equally as important to understand what your audience is subscribed to you for and make sure not to take that for granted and completely fuck off that thing completely.
Yeah.
But why was it different, like, say, 3 years ago when, like, Troye Sivan, for example, he was like a YouTube vlogger for a while, and then he launched his music career, and then his YouTube channel just ended abruptly. But everyone was kind of okay with it. I think
Troy did music covers anyway. Occasionally he would do, so like it was already there, and also vlogging audience is way different to what you got now. Like even I went to the Joji concert recently.
I was about to say Joji's a perfect example of this.
I went to the Joji concert recently and it was amazing, but you've still got people there who are really hanging on to why they started watching him.
Filthy Frank.
There were people who were
of course.
There's still people who really fucking were pushing the Filthy Frank thing, and I was like, oh yeah, it's quite obvious that man doesn't want that.
No, he does not.
Yeah, like can you just stop
so I will
nice stuff at him,
I'll say real quick, and then I got to scoot to pick up my kid. But I think it depends on the person too. I think for a lot of people, they start YouTube as maybe a stepping stone because it's more accessible than just jumping into the music industry necessarily, and they were able to find an audience doing something that wasn't maybe what their original passion was, and then realizing had an audience, and they might have a shot at the passion if they're talented enough. Like they can do it. Like I think, like you said, Filthy Frank, his transition to becoming Josie, he's super successful. He's done that successfully. Of course, he probably lost a lot of people along the way, but I think if you have the talent
right,
you can pull it off. But I think the problem for a lot of people is they just maybe don't have the talent to do that thing that they want to do, and maybe should have continued doing what they were good at. You know what I mean? It's really, it's kind of a case by case basis type of thing, and it's hard to say. But I'd say more often than not, it doesn't go so well when people just completely fuck off what made them significant or gave them the opportunities in the first place. And you know, if it doesn't go well and they try to come back to that, they realize there's not a lot of people left when they come back. Yeah.
Ray William Johnson is another one, I think.
Yeah, Ray William Johnson, Tyler Oakley. There's a million YouTubers you could right now with like 10 million subs, getting 3K views a video. But anyways, that's a lot could be said about that. But listen, I appreciate you guys, Dave. Dave, thanks so much for having me on.
Oh, Leon, no, man, shit, come on, man. Thank you for coming on.
Hey. Allexx, I love you, buddy. Gay Rab, I love you too.
I gotta get you back on again, man. I promise. It won't be a year next time. I promise you. I won't wait to the next million. All right, I swear.
And to everyone in the chat too, much love. Subscribe to PewDiePie. Is that meme's played out? Maybe I don't know. Yeah.
Dead meme,
Peace,
bro.
Guys.
Dead meme.
Yeah.
Take it easy, Leon. Thank you so much, brother.
See you guys.
Have a good one.
Friggin' Leon Lush, everybody. Alex, you want to field a couple more calls and stuff if they come on in? We'll wrap it up in just a few minutes.
Sure.
Awesome.
Fine with that. If people want to hop on, yeah.
Yeah, if you guys want to come into the Discord and ask ImAllexx a question, or me, I can answer questions as well. I don't know why you'd want that, but we can do that as well. Tobes, anything else for Allexx?
No. I don't know what to say. I'm really. This is probably the second time I've talked to you directly, Allexx. Though.
Oh, would it have been?
Yeah, I think.
Where was the first one?
Oh, Insomnia. Back in April.
Oh,
He doesn't even remember meeting you, Tobes. Yay! Yay!
Yes!
You actually remember me.
Yes, of course. Of course.
I love it.
Yeah, I didn't
He
know
signed
you
my
used
hat and
that.
everything.
Yeah, I didn't know your username. So, yeah, no, I remember.
See, now that made my year.
Yeah, I love Insomnia. I do. It was nice to see everybody there.
All right, Tobes. Thanks, man. I really appreciate the call, brother.
No problem. I don't know what to say. I'm so happy for you, Dave, and I love you, Allexx. I'm glad that you had the year that you've had.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
I know Leon is gone, but his content is just I stop everything I do really and I just watch it.
He is incredible.
Yeah, but thank you for having me on.
Oh, of course, Tobes. You're a co-host. No, fuck off. All right, get out of here, man. Thanks a lot. Love me some Tobes. All right, now I do got to be, if we get another caller, that's great. If not, I got one more topic that I think people have asked me to ask you about, and Leon as well. I'll get them next time I get them on. The KSI, now you just did a video on KSI. I'm fully aware of that, and it's doing very well. But the KSI Deji situation, this whole fucking thing that's going on, aside from what you said in the video, that dynamic between those two and everything that happened during the time that it did with being Christmas and all of this, I think it's one of the grossest things we've ever seen on YouTube. I really do. I think it's...
I think it's fucked.
It's fucking absolutely just mind-boggling. Like, where are the fucking parents in this situation? Because I'd be dead right now if I was pulling this shit.
The powerful one, so at a certain point, when you people like Deji and JJ, those two guys are titans as human beings. They own the house. Well, Deji owns the house that they kicked KSI out of. What can the parents do if Deji, they can't? It's a weird situation. It really is. I'm baffled by it. I think all it sums up for me is really do pick. I mean, you can't pick family on YouTube, but
Do you think it's real?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
See, I don't. I feel this is wrestling to me. And that's the only thing that's giving me any sort of pass on it.
It's real because of the fact that if it wasn't KSI would be all over it. And he's not. He's on purposely not. And I know the guy, I've met him. That guy would not pass down an opportunity for a 50 million view month. He wouldn't. He's on purposely avoided it on YouTube for a reason. It's as real as it is fucking real.
Yeah.
Wow. It's going to the point where the tweets aren't even not even funny anymore.
No, they're not funny.
Deji uploads that video saying that they sorted it out. Deji uploads that video saying they sorted it out, and KSI tweets him saying, "No, we haven't. Call me still." It's not a video response.
Right.
You know, it's all, and he's only tweeting because of the fact that I guess it's the only way he fucking seems to see it. It's weird. It is fucking weird.
I guess that's probably the best point that you can make, that it would be real, is the fact, the way that it is being played. But I mean, it's not like they haven't fought before. You know, we've seen it before. It's not like it hasn't happened, but it was fought differently.
But that time it was obviously fake,
right.
Especially if you know any of them, and you realize that half the stuff that was being said was complete bullshit.
Oh, okay. Whereas, see, I don't know them.
Obviously, and I get that for most people. But like when, even if you just look at, I saw it this time, and the first thing I saw, I was like, when Deji uploaded that video complaining about his channel being dead, I've said in the video, like, if they come out and suddenly go, it's fake, like, I still believe it wasn't. They may fix it and then play it off like it was some big joke.
You think that's likely? You think that's a likelihood?
If they do sort it, they'll say it's fake. Like, that's what, of course, they fucking should do. But also, like, why would you fake drama that has lost Deji 30k subs in the last 4 days?
Very, very, very good point. I mean, maybe it's just backfired. I thought that was the possibility, is that they had a plan of what they wanted to do, like a long-term build with this, and then, it backfired. Like a lot of these things do. They are going to backfire. Yeah, these are craziness.
Plan only works if KSI drops a diss track in response, and he didn't.
Yeah, I thought he was going to.
And there was no reacting to the videos. And also, the reason why I know it's also semi-real is because as much as you said all the last ones were fake, he mentioned in a video recently when he was reacting to Quedeca how he didn't react to Rotorshaw's diss track because he said it went too far, and he genuinely fell out with Harry over that, which is why he wanted to box him instead of Joe, I think. Or they basically weren't friends, is from what I gathered. And that was very real. And he literally said in one of his videos, I didn't react to it because it was too far.
I think that makes sense.
And then, and he reacted to every other diss track. Because even back then, like, as much as those were fake, they weren't faking. They didn't orchestrate that. Like, KSI fucked off, and then they saw what Jake and Logan did, and it all started. Somebody would have dropped a diss track, and then it would have kind of been almost like unwrittenly arranged. I don't believe they were sat in a WhatsApp group chat, like,
right,
or speaking to each other, being like, "This is what we're going to do," or it was pre-planned along those lines. I still feel like it was maybe 20-30% real, 70%. Because there's stuff in there that, like, isn't bullshit. I mean, even KSI saying that he ignored the Rotorshaw one kind of says the fact that parts of it are real, and he's completely ignored Deji on YouTube. So
I think it's just the only thing that I can go off of, and really because I don't follow it as heavily as a lot of people do. My spidey senses went up because I want to believe self-preservation is always going to take priority. Thank you, General Crow. I appreciate that. You're fucking awesome. $10 from General Crow. But there's no self-preservation here. Like, I know you said the parents, obviously, they do not have any hand on the wheel at this point, and they're at the behest of their very powerful children. They're all benefiting from this. So somebody, to me, would take control and be like, all right, if this is real, we got to stop this shit now before all of us end up losing, which seems to be happening. This has turned everybody off. Nobody seems to be getting into it on any real good way other than saying that it's fake. So I just don't see why they would keep going with it.
Yeah,
nothing. I just can't get there.
There's no entertainment value in this one at all.
It's just bizarre. It's gross. It's stomach turning. It really is.
Yeah, I think it's one of the most disgraceful things I've seen. The fact that, because I think it's obvious that Deji wanted it to go like last year.
Yeah.
But KSI didn't.
Right.
KSI was like, no, we're not doing that this year. And Deji's kind of fucking just got off the rails with it, and it's like you can't stop something like that. But that's the thing. Like, I think what it really shows is that no matter what I said this in my video, like, no matter what you think about people, no matter what you know about people, like, I know plenty of YouTubers who, when I met them, they were solid people who I believed who would jump in front of a bullet for me. Yeah. And by the end of the year, they were as selfish as they could possibly ever be. Yeah. YouTube does that to people. Like, it does fuck with people.
But these are brothers, though. This is like, it seems it should be more than that. Jake and Logan Paul.
Deji's channel's dying and he's desperate for 10 million.
You really think that's what this is? Really good. This is desperation by Deji? You think that's what this is all being orchestrated?
Yeah, there are people out there fickle enough to fucking do that bullshit. And he always seemed like he was kind of an outsider to the friendship group. And I'm not gonna lie, KSI seems to like the Sidemen more than he likes his own brother.
No, there's some truth to that.
It's just an observation, really. from watching it. So I understand why everything that he said. It's not like I've said it and gone, "Oh, there's no merit to that." Like it looks like he's made that up. Everything he says, I go, I can understand why he feels that way.
Wow.
I think it's believable. I do think it's believable. The last one wasn't. It's like, you do drugs and you're fat. They all do drugs, mate. So who cares, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas like this one, it's not like you do drugs. It's like you betrayed me. You don't speak to me. But you don't want to hang out with the family. Who would start YouTube diss tracks over that?
Yeah. It doesn't.
It's not sensationalized enough. It's not like what a normal diss track rap war is. It's very much just. It's like literally watching two people argue at each other over Facebook.
Very true. No, that's what it's become. No, you're 100% right. Let's end this on a high note. Let's not go too far down the terrible doldrums of that drama, because it really is. You just feel like the air gets sucked out by talking about it. It really is gross.
Yeah, it's boring.
I wanted to ask this to Leon too, but I mean, we talk so much. I'm so happy with how everything went in this stream, and I got to thank you both for this. It's been absolutely incredible. But one of the questions I wanted to ask you both, and I'll leave you with this. Who do you see being the next ones to be the Leon Lushes and the ImAllexx, being the guys that we've known for a while, that have been around a certain sub count, but this is going to be the year 2019. They're going to hit 1 million. They're going to do something great. Who are your people for 2019?
I could tell you one of them that instantly springs to mind.
Okay.
Bionic Pig. I think Aaron's really coming to his stride recently, and not gonna lie, Aaron should have done it this year. I do believe he should have, but he went for a rough patch and he gave up. Like he basically stopped.
He got frustrated.
He stopped and he started throwing up completely random videos for a while, and now like he's in his stride, and the guy seems to know, like he seems to be back on it.
Seems like he's having fun.
He did a cover of Ariana Grande and he got 125k views. And I used to tell him, he used to always say to me that he didn't believe that, people don't like the music stuff. I was like, no, people like your music stuff.
He's good.
People do like it. I was like, you are just bad at branding. You need, if you brand, and it's true with anything, you know, I could be, you know, he could be a music channel, but if you don't brand your music covers, they look out of place and people aren't going to click them, you know, because like, people, you need to get in like a theme almost, you know.
That's
and I said to him that like you could do anything with YouTube. Like tomorrow, if I wanted to start a cooking show, I did it once actually. For one video, I was like, it'd be funny if I cooked. So I went through the Instagram food tag because I'd already done video on Instagram videos, and I made an omelette during the video, and people loved it. Yeah, like there are ways where you could make whatever you want on YouTube and have it go well if you have a brain on your shoulders. And I think what he's really done recently is that he's got out of that like rant that everybody gets in.
Yeah.
And he's just taken, like he's fucking smashing it at the moment. Like I could be more proud of him. And he's always been one of the most talented out of the group, if not the most talented. So
incredibly. I agree.
So I think Aaron will do it, and James Marriott is a for sure.
That's not fair. Anybody with a fucking brain can see that coming. Like
I didn't want to say
Christ.
James. I didn't want to see James, but James is just that's going to happen.
He might really take off.
Yeah, I think he could do. I think he could do a lot next year. I really do. So I'm trying to think of somebody else who's been around for ages. The Right Opinions really coming into his own.
Yeah.
He's one of our old school commentary friends. He's nearly on 200,000 subscribers now, and he just did a 1 million view video. So that's huge for him. InAllexx, I expect him to just keep on doing what he's doing, and you know people really take to Fraser.
You think commentary is gonna? People are saying with like you and Leon and Kavos that commentary is back. That we're seeing the 2016 era kind of resurging a little bit. Do you see that continuing into 2019?
I don't think commentary ever left. I just think the commentary YouTubers who were pulling the boat didn't care.
Fair enough. Nobody filled the Leafy void. I mean, was that simple?
Leafy quite clearly didn't give a fuck about what he was making.
No.
No. And Niall would rather make gaming videos, from what I could tell. So like, Pyrocynical doesn't even necessarily want to make the gaming stuff, the commentary stuff. He'd rather be doing the gaming thing, which he's always wanted to do. You know, ever since the emoji stuff. So yeah. I think really what it is now you've got a bunch of guys who really want to be commentary channels, pulling the line, and that's the difference. Like everybody else, they were great. Like even Leafy even did parts of the platform that you can't deny, you know, especially for the genre.
Sure.
But I think for me that when you look at the Vine guys who've come in and they've regained their Vine audience and tripled it by making commentary videos.
Yeah.
I think all I can say is like this year it felt like I restarted again. It reminded me of like when I was on 10k subscribers. I was hanging around like Elvis the Alien and that lot. And I didn't mention Elvis on the million thing because he's practically already there.
Yeah, he's there. Yeah. It's kind of surprised he hasn't hit it, to be honest. Like Jesus, he definitely one of the best branders out there.
Elvis. He just occasionally he'll just disappear.
Right. He's like, I'll be back.
if Jimmy wanted to, he could have just gone all out this year and done no one likes videos, basically. Just like, or he could have just like he did ride people ruin everything for a while, but then he got rid of it. He didn't want to do it all the time, so he stopped. Like, you know, I think the thing about Jimmy is that the one thing that I can always respect is that he will only do what he enjoys.
Yeah.
So, he hasn't done a people ruin everything video for 3 fucking months.
Right.
And those get 1 million views a piece. Like
Easy.
most people would make one a week. You know,
they're gonna milk it. Yeah.
Yeah, Jimmy could have done 1.5 million this year, I think, easily. And I think that's the one thing. As soon as people realise the potential they could go with commentary, people want to see it. People enjoy it. I think that's one of the things that I'm most disappointed in, actually, is how untapped it is still. I do think there's so much room for so many more bigger, better people. And I'm always looking for new commentary channels to talk to, because it's the only genre I watch, you know.
Oh, really? That's
the only genre I watch. Yeah. I don't watch anything else. I watch my friends and the Vine guys, and I don't watch anybody else. Like it's the only genre, in my opinion, worth watching on YouTube. Like it's the only one that actually has any form of integrity left, and even then, people will fucking argue that, won't they? So.
I keep saying this, but this is really the last time. I got one more quick thing because I just saw it in the chat.
Go for it, man.
Grade A under A. Apparently he's coming back. Apparently he is.
Yeah, I really pissed some people off with my tweet.
What's the expectations? Is he coming back? And if he does, what do you think?
Well, if he comes back, his channel's going to be dead. So
really,
welcome back to your dead channel. And because of the fact that he's probably only coming back because he needs money, he'll leave again, because that's what most YouTubers do.
Can he rebuild? Do you think he's capable? Do you think he can do it?
I think anybody's capable, but I think if you were capable, in my opinion, I find it insulting when YouTubers leave anyway. This has always been my personal opinion.
Yeah, no,
I find it insulting when a YouTuber disappears.
Tommy and a bunch of people say Clown says he's coming back.
Yeah, I would like Clown to come back.
No. Clown says Great is coming back.
Clown says Great is coming back. I like both of them to make more regular videos.
Right.
It's one of those things where, but Clown wasn't a full timer. Grade was, you know. Yes. I expected time from Grade. You know, I expected weekly videos, and he disappeared because of the fact that he was caught out for being, well, basically a prick.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So it's like, even if he comes back, it's like, and he goes back to making the videos he started off with. But I think even now, I don't know how well they'd be doing now if he'd have carried on the consistency, because we spoke about earlier momentum on YouTube. I don't care how good you are. You could be God's gift. You could be doing 20 million views a day. You disappear for like fucking a year and you come back. You're not going to jump back into like 20 million view days. Just like that. It's just
absence doesn't make the heart grow fonder on YouTube, man. It makes the algorithm forget about you. That's about it.
Yeah, it makes the mathematical system in place want to fucking kick you out permanently. Because it's like feeding, you know, like when you got to put coal in the train to make the train keep on going, basically.
Your videos are the coal.
You stop for a week, your train's not going to move. And then it's going to be even harder to restart because you've got to start shoved again. So you'll start off slower, you know. And that's how YouTube works. It's like a train. It's literally like an old steam train. The longer you jump off the wheels, the harder it's going to get to have them fucking start up again, because they're going to be fucking rusty as shit. And I don't think he will have, and this isn't against him, because I wouldn't be able to, the mental capacity to come back. If he does, then he must be very strong-willed, because I would not be able to come back.
He's going to take shit.
Yeah, and I also wouldn't be able to come back and admit that I wasn't getting views half as good as I was before. I find that hard.
Yeah, his comment section is gonna be must-read fucking material for a while. If he does in fact come back, it's gonna be insane.
I mean, Grade A Under A Season 2 got 4 million views on it, right?
Yeah.
So it's like he could have come back then, because
why now?
People are happy with a first-time comeback. You could take one big break and come back and be relatively okay.
Can't do it again.
But the fact that he went, I'm coming back for Season 2 and then never posted Season 2.
Yeah. You
can't do, what's he going to do? Grade A Under A Season 3? Well,
for real this time.
Yeah, literally, like, what can you do? Everybody, like, there's this one thing that if you lose it, you're dead, and that's trust with your audience.
Very true.
And in my opinion, he's lost it.
Yep.
I don't know why people were upset when I said he ruined Christmas. Like,
people did not like that.
I was so confused because number one, I didn't fucking mean it. I don't give a fuck about Mr. Stickman. I don't know who actually cares. Like, when he said he was coming back, my main thing was I know he tweeted that and sat there being like, "Oh, people will love this." So I sat there and went, "If you care, then why? Like, why do you care?"
I'll tell you what bothered me. The only thing that bothered me about it, because I don't watch Grad, I never really did. I didn't care too much. The thing that bothered me was he did the most pretentious and fucking needy thing that you could possibly do when you came back. The one word "hi." That fucking made me insane. I'm like, you fucking self-righteous, important prick. Like, come on, man.
You're a prick.
Oh, hi, fuck you.
Shit. Yeah, it's insulting. Like, you either give your fan base an explanation or you fuck off again. That's my opinion. Like, that's how I feel about those people.
Yeah, no, I agree. All right, man. We've done over 2 hours. Allexx, I got to get you on more frequently, man. I hopefully you're down for that. And we said this last time too. Around. This was my fault. This last year has not been great for me, and I really haven't reached out to anybody. So my big resolution that I've already started at this month is to reach out to more people. I want to get more people on. Like, I got some things working. I want to get a lot of people on, and you're one of the people I'd like to get more on frequently because, my God, you have an opinion on everything just like I do, and we could talk for hours. So I'd love to have you back more frequently.
Yeah, of course, man. I'd love to.
Awesome. You heard him say it. That's contractually obligation now. You heard it there first. Make sure you guys go check him out if you haven't already, which I'm sure you have because that's why you're here. ImAllexx, Leon Lush. There you go. Thank you so much, Allexx. Have yourself a fantastic night, my friend.
Thank you very much, man.
All right. I'm going to close down the show so I don't have to worry about the outro. I'll talk to you later, my friend.
All good, man.
All right.
See ya.
Guys, thank you for making this night absolutely fucking insane for me. I appreciate it so much. It's been a blast. Thank you for the subscriptions. Thank you for the donations. We got a lot of stuff coming in the future. I got a lot of plans for 2019. Things are starting to happen in my personal life, which is allowing me to have a little bit more flexibility to be able to get more consistent. So everybody who's stuck with me on the ride, thank you. I'm going to reward your patience as much as I can. Can't say we're going to grow anything, but we're going to have a lot of fun. If you like these interviews, we're going to have a fuck ton more of them coming, and maybe as early in the next couple of days, I've already got a couple more feelers out. So thank you, Etro, for the sub. Stick around. Don't leave. More's coming. And I apologize for the worst intro ever on this episode. We will see you next time. I'll be on Twitch tomorrow as well. Keep it copious, folks. And remember, as always, if you don't have talent, have talented friends. Go give some love to those wonderful patrons. And once again, give some major love to Dawn and Danny for the thumbnail and your Lord Vega for the incredible frame that we're working with today. Peace with chicken grease. Outs! Mush puffs. Yeah, I'm gonna do this every fucking stream until you guys shoot me in the face. Peace out, bitches. Good night.